That was a nice shot of the casting couch, wasn't it? Anyway, good to see you guys here tonight for some crypto talk now. We're going to have some really great news headlines to bring to you guys to start things off right. Basically, some Hedera HBAR news. Yeah, Hedera. Really cool to see that. On top of that, we have some LCX, Quant, and XRP. Those are a few they're going to start off with our news headlines. On top of that, we have some particular short notes we're going to share with you guys in regards to Solana. It's going to be a great show. Thank you for being here tonight at Crypto Talk Now. Almost said crypto.com. I don't know why I do that. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and jump right into the comments and start things off with welcoming a few of our people from our community. And let's see, we have, actually, it's Larry. I guess since tonight is his day off, he did want to comment. That's okay. It says, yeah, baby, yeah. Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. Yep. I still say that the sequel, The Spy Who Shagged Me, that was the best one. All right, Brian Dowie. What's up, guys? Good to see you, Brian. I don't think I saw the other day, but you know what? Everybody needs a day off. Brian says, Max, told you I didn't trust Tether, and I think it might fall next. Yeah, people have been saying that for a while, and you did say that, so thanks for pointing that out. Coochie Boy's in the house. Thanks for being here, Coochie Boy. You know, we were originally, I always try to make sure we start like right on time. But for instance, my dad is actually in the hospital. I took him this morning. He's back in the hospital with, bilateral cellulitis and so on. And they had to do an x-ray to see if his shoulder was okay because he actually fell. So, yeah, say a prayer for my dad. I think he'll be all right, but he's going to have to be in the hospital probably for at least a few days, unfortunately. Let's see here. Brittany's in the house. Sobo, good evening to all. Yes, good to see you, Sobo. All right, just going through a few more comments and trying to welcome a few more people. Obviously, Boomer F and Sooner, if I haven't welcomed you before. Selmo Flood's in the house. Good to see you, Selmo. Hey, you know what, Selmo? I forgot to tag you on this particular post. So I'm going to take a moment to basically mention this. So, man, are you kidding me? The Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, come on, man. Mr. Mitchell, you know what I'm talking about. That great game. What was it? 71 points. Wow, what a game. What a comeback. Take it into overtime. I know that happened about a week ago or more. Man, you got a lot to be happy about in Cleveland again. Donovan Mitchell. Man, that was a great game. Great game. All right. Boomer F is Sooner saying hello. All right, let's go further down and let's see who else we got up in here. Yep, we got some H bar for you. Gonna really like that. We're gonna start off with that particular headline. I am trying to bring the heat. I live in Phoenix, so gotta bring some of the heat. I mean, I guess we gotta be NBA specific. Miami Heat. I can't imagine living in Miami in summertime. I just cannot. I mean, the way I look at it is Phoenix is so freaking hot in the summertime. I experienced as much as 122 degrees, and then combine that with 90% or more humidity. No, thank you. You know what I mean? But I have been to Miami in the wintertime, and it's really, really nice. All right, let's go further down. Let's see here. We have the one. Are you guys ready? The only Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk. He says, what's up, CTM fam? Good to see you, Mr. Lambos. GS is in the house. Good morning or good afternoon. Is it your coffee that we're looking for? Lionel Richie. That don't make any sense either, does it? Anyway, but yes, good afternoon. I guess some people have an afternoon coffee. Huh. It's more than afternoon, though, so maybe it's time difference. Now, for me, it's good evening. It's currently 7:14 p.m. here, Mountain Time, because Phoenix is Arizona is one of those places that's really unique to that. All right, let's get further down to it, and then we'll kick it into the show here in a bit. We're about roughly 5 minutes into everything. I want to go ahead and welcome this guy. He's back. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot 420. Breaker 19. We have terrorist suspects intersides. Do you copy? Boom. Yes, we do. Not kidding. All right. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot 420. Welcome back. Yes. GE everyone. Good evening, everyone. Yes, yes. All right. How about this one? Taco Tuesday, baby. Really? I was thinking that today was Wednesday. See, it's been kind of a long day. Yes, it is Taco Tuesday. Hence why the thumbnail literally says Tuesday Night Lights, right? Yeah. Anyway, Salamander, like to welcome you. Thanks for being here. Coinbase delisting Tether in Canada. Yeah, that's not good indicators. Not good at all. Yeah, thank you for the prayers. Really do appreciate that. Let's see here. Crypto McDizzle, aka Crypto Mike, for Shizzle and Nizzle for show. He says, so sorry to hear about your dad, brother Max. Yeah, thank you. I mean, the guy's just kind of been a lot through, having the whole thing with cellulitis. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's just, you live in Phoenix, you gotta keep your skin hydrated. And you just cannot let anything get in your pores. I've had it once before. It's extremely painful. But I'm glad that they got IVs hooked up to them, antibiotics, try to get that out, and hopefully this next time around it can get under control. But the X-rays turned up in which he doesn't have anything broken. But I don't know, man. He was claiming that he had something there, and that it was either torn, broken, or fractured. And then I called the nurse earlier, and she said that the report came back there was nothing, and like they don't know what's going on. It might just, I don't know what it is. So yeah, I'm literally gonna have to do this and double check with the doctor and say, are you guys sure you X-rayed the right arm? I know that sounds crazy, but I've heard situations like that. I've heard an extreme situation, not here locally. Maybe you guys saw it in the news as well. Years ago, there's a person in which they had to have their leg amputated, and the dang place amputated the wrong leg, to say the least. You better believe that was a crazy lawsuit, but I mean, no money in the world is worth losing the wrong leg, right? Yeah, anyway. All right. David Clay, sorry to hear that, bro. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, no problem. I mean, it's just, I can't exactly be there all day and so on. And, but, I just spend enough time with him and so on. But, I probably will be going back there tomorrow. I am taking him to a hospital on the other side of the town, because the one that's, close to where we live, that hospital is lousy. Lousy. But this other one, there's like hardly any wait. Everything looks like it's upgraded, like state-of-the-art stuff and whatnot. And I was a lot more impressed. So a little bit extra out of the way, but when it comes to your folks, you got to do what you got to do. All right, let's go further down. If I didn't have a chance to welcome Tim Shea, I want to go ahead and welcome you, Tim. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate it, GS. And let's see here. Somebody down with XRP in 2023. He's going to say, you know me. I am down with that too. And we're going to talk specifically about some of these 2023 predictions when it comes to XRP, some of these other ones and so on. Cool Cat Crypto's in the house. Thanks for being here. Triple C. Rand's in the house. Oh, I told you. Sad 10K is here. All right. Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle Manizzle for show states, I am reading that crypto.com is delisting USDT for all Canadian users. Wow. Okay. Good point. Eddie T's in the house. Thanks for being here, Eddie. And let's see here. Just trying to see if there's any other thing specific. I want to welcome Watermelon. Why do we always say this? Watermelon Sugar Crypto Highs in the house. Thanks for being here. All right, we're gonna go ahead and kick things in here soon. Bearish continuation pattern DCA your way. Meow. Okay. But yeah, I mean, we're approaching the 10-minute mark, so why not? We got some good problems, obviously. Managed to catch the live show today. Well, thank you, LA. Thank you for being here. Anybody else, if I might have missed, sorry about that. Yeah, I like this one. LOL, disabled veteran here. Yeah, you like that, huh? Hey, thanks for serving, man. Really, for real. We have veterans that served in my family and so on. My dad's two cousins, they served in World War II. They are no longer with us and so on. Let's face it, that generation is just not, they're getting up there. So they're not going to be around with us, unfortunately. A lot of those guys, even the youngest ones that served, like I pointed this out before, if you literally served in the Normandy invasion and so on, I believe you're at least, well, in 2022 you'll be at least like 96 if I'm not mistaken. If you're at least 18, right? Not counting the ones that lie their age. So basically entering this year, I guess you would be like 97. So I mean that generation is just, if you haven't, thanks some of those guys, take a moment to do so. Even my dad's generation, that's Korean War generation. I mean, my dad's 88, so but thank you to you, whatever branch you served in and so on. All you guys, Summer Fudd, you all know who you are. Thank you so much. Big Watch Dudes in the house. Hey, Max, the CTM fam, can you please do a deeper dive on Flare when you get a chance? We are. Larry and I are planning on doing just that. Look for it in the recorded section. Guys, if you haven't done so already, please hit that like. I know they mentioned that we kick it in the news here in a bit, but we definitely are. Please hit the like if you haven't done so already, because it will help, tick up into the next tier and get this out to more and more people. We're approaching close to 40. I would really, really appreciate it. But yeah, let me just see if there's any specific questions. I do want to read this. Some of us says going to a Cavs game. It's been a while. This ball club keeps Cleveland rocking. Yeah, I'd be really, really proud of that club. I thought you guys had a lot going on when you had Ricky Rubio healthy and so on. Say what you want. I mean, even when Rubio was here in Phoenix for 1 year, I thought he was a pretty darn good player. I think he's very underrated. But nonetheless, you had that, and of course you had that injury. But I think everything with Donovan Mitchell, you got freaking Jared Allen. You guys have a good team, and I think this is going to be a standout year for the Cleveland Cavaliers, to say the least. So shout out to you, Summer Fudd, you and the Cavs. My mom and I were rooting for Cleveland big time in 2016 against the Warriors. I never seen my mom so happy to see not the Warriors, to see the Cavaliers win that year, that 3-1 deficit come all the way back, first time in NBA history. It was amazing. I mean, because she's a huge LeBron fan. That was her favorite player. She had tears in her eyes, and yeah, she was going through the whole cancer thing, but that was a highlight. I was so thankful that she got to see LeBron get a ring, because that was her guy. All right, let's yeah, thank you so much for that, Coochie boy. Appreciate it, man. All right. Thank you, all you guys. I really, really do appreciate that. Hey, weather was beautiful today with 71 degrees. Hope everyone had a beautiful day. Thank you, April. Saw Menelect in the house. Hello, is it Menelect you're looking for? Lionel Richie. I don't know why we say that, but Larry always says that. All right, so let's get further down, and if anything, I'm gonna highlight it right here with Rafael Santos, basically how he says Sir Larry. So I'm gonna highlight it right there with Sir Larry, so I don't lose my spot. Actually, I'll just do it right there. All right, so let's kick things into the particular news. I'm gonna actually start with just some quick, super fast news, real quick, and it is in regards to specifically Solana. I know you're maybe thinking, well, Solana. Well, just hear me out. So check this out. Here it is. And basically, yes, Solana. Listen to this. Solana's wallet activity looks great. Now, we saw everything that happened recently with the whole thing with Bonk. And, let's face it, for a lot of us, that came out of nowhere, unless you've been really following the likes of meme tokens like really closely and so on, right? And it was a good thing that happened for Solana, to say the least, because, they needed, let's face it, it's kind of like, you're fighting in some kind of war, they need a good, a boost to morale, if you will. So it says not only are activity levels above where they were before when FTX collapsed, which is true, they are 3 times higher. Now, in reference to Bonk, the Bonk meme coin craze is sweeping the ecosystem, is undoubtedly contributing heavily to this uptick. Let's face it, that's just a simple reality. It was up over 2,000% at one point. I don't know, maybe it was I don't know if higher than that, but for a brief moment. And it says, in-network activity by any attention is good attention, right? I would say so. I mean, just because it's meme related, there's so much FUD and negative press when it came to Solana. Another thing I want to point out real quick is this real quick. I know we don't talk about Tezos a lot, but hear me out on this, okay? Because it's worth mentioning. Tezos activity has been looking good recently. All right. Here's the key takeaway. Manchester United dropped that NFT, which it's an NFT drop, I guess you could say. It brought a lot of activity to the blockchain in December, and of course, it helped it hit the number 6 spot on Lunar Crush for most social engagement. That's definitely worth pointing out. And then this third one, Unstoppable Domains, is a project building on Polygon. Of course, Polygon is like I mentioned, one of the standout ones for 2022 bear market / crypto winter. But anyway, listen to this. I made a new milestone. Over 3 million domains have now been minted on the platform, with most on Polygon. All right. So we went over that. I'm going to show you guys this real quick. And this is some of the headline news that we're talking about in regards to specifically what Hedera's H-bar. Okay. So if anything, we're going to take a moment to recognize that. Shout out to this particular person at Crypto S Giants. Says this is insane. Draw your own conclusion. Let me know in the comments if you feel as though that this is worth wow. Hedera H-bar will be the first network to eliminate the friction and jargon of joining a crypto network. Normies, or normal people, right, will be able to join crypto seamlessly with a Google, listen to this, Google, Facebook, or Twitter account, just like they would on any mainstream platform. On top of that, right, when we get more into this, I'm going to actually show you the thread. So here's the thing, right? I'm going to go up to the top. It says you will be able to, with Hashpack version 5.0, which is introducing email login, you're going to be able to create Hedera accounts on Hashpack. Okay. So you're going to be able to use your email address without the need to remember any recovery phrases or account IDs. Now, some people, let's face it, they're going to be either for or against this. That's just, let's just get that out there. Now, it says we've also made it possible to import existing accounts without needing to know your account ID. This has all the earmarks to a sense of being similar to some of these other things that you've seen out there, Arculus and so on. But let's face it, it's specifically focused for the likes of Hedera's H-bar, Hashpack. So it says we've also made it possible to import existing accounts without the needing, like I mentioned, to knowing your ID. There's more in regards to this. Email login is powered by Magic Labs. If you're wondering who they are specifically, they connect users to Web3 with one-click wallet. So you can understand the connection there with that. On top of that, it says no one else has the ability to access your account except you. Isn't that the whole point? It says not even Hashpack. Okay. So check out their blog if you want more information. I went further into it and so on. They had another update, and it says that they have improved parsing of HNS domains. They added token icons from backlog. They added initial checksum support. There's more on this, below. We're going to get to that here in a second. So what exactly is checksum? You may be wondering, right? So it says you may notice 5 letters after your account ID. This is called a checksum. Some of us heard about this in the past, especially, let's face it, if you're a gamer, and is an optional security measure to help make sure people don't send an incorrect account. Send to an incorrect account, I should say. It was proposed by the guy that we featured yesterday. You know about him. He's Lehman Baird. He is the co-CEO of Swirls Lab and co-founder of Hedera. Now, it was proposed by him in HIP-15. There's a couple more things, and we'll kick it back in the comments just for a brief moment. But check this out. It says, we understand these changes might not be for everyone. Right. And this, I'm going to state this. This doesn't appear to be for everyone, but if anything, it's a unique utility, if you will, or something very unique from Hedera. So it says, for instance, so the standard methods of creating or importing accounts with private keys, recovery phrases, or ledger devices will always be available on Hashpack. Using email address or checksum is completely optional, right? Should be. And then last but not least, it says, like I mentioned, what you saw here before, come on, Google, Facebook, Twitter accounts, right? This is why we say, for instance, This is appealing because now if you can attract anybody from the mainstream, what is going to happen from here? Adoption. It's as simple as that. People want something with ease of access that does trend in the mainstream markets and so on, especially with social media. I think it's a big win for Hedera, to say the least. This concludes some of our HBAR news for you. And if anything, we'll go ahead and jump into the next segment. But let's get into the comments. All right, back to the comments. So, for instance, we have next up on my particular highlight, and I'd like to go ahead and welcome everybody. Again, if you haven't hit that like, please do so. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and just kind of helps us, get further out there as far as recommending the channel. So, thank you guys. All right. Yes, it's a conversation with him. I always like to point this out because it's worth pointing out. So, Selmo did serve in Desert Storm. He's an Army veteran. So you guys, all you guys that served, thank you again. From CTN, myself, CTN family, and so on. Larry, we all thank you guys. All right, Big Watch Dude states that game-winning shot Kyrie hit over Steph made him a legend. It did. It absolutely did. And for all the bitter people in Cleveland, my thing is this. I mean, yeah, put aside if you can. I know he's very controversial out the court, right? But my thing is this. I will always love watching Kyrie when he actually just, I hate to say it, just shut up and plays ball. The guy is absolutely amazing. One of the funnest guys to watch when it comes to just pure basketball talent. His crossover game. I mean, I used to think, like Allen Iverson was just, a league of his own. But, let's face it, Kyrie Irving, I mean, I might have to put Kyrie like right there or maybe ahead of Allen Iverson. Why? Because at least he has one ring. No disrespect to AI. But yeah, that as far as I'm concerned, Kyrie was the only person to get the best of Steph Curry when healthy. Now, let's face it. I mean, not healthy, that's a different story. But when healthy, at the peak of a championship game, to say the least. All right, let's go further down. Link H Van Zil's in the house. Welcome back. Hey, everybody. Anyone know what is the latest with Wire and XLM? Can people still cash out at MoneyGram? Last I checked, you should be able to, but I'll definitely have to look more into that for everybody. And if anything, maybe I'll include that in another update with our next XLM video, which should be out probably by tomorrow morning in regards to recorded. All right. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot 420. Selma Flood, same here. Desert Storm from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. That's awesome to hear that. Just a moment. All right. Anyone catch Zach's live earlier? Nope, I did not. I was probably at the hospital during that time. Was really that bad? Cool Cat? All right. Cool Cat today. Huh. All right, David Clay. Solana is a dump. Not a fan. They just can't get it together. Yeah, a lot of people aren't fans, but I just wanted to point out some things I saw in the news because let's face it. I mean, we're a news network. We try to report on stuff like that. All right. Brian Dowie didn't know he had one. What happened? Huh. Daniel Gayton's in the house. He says hello to everyone. Hello, Daniel Gayton. Is it you we're looking for? Lionel Richie. I don't know why we say that, but it's a thing that Larry likes to do. Welcome here, Daniel. Asking how we're doing. We're doing good. Hopefully things are good with you. And Cool Cat says Zach got roughed up a little bit in a debate. Uh-oh. Really? Who was he debating? Just somebody from the audience? Like was he debating you? Were you talking crap about ETH? Did he bring up ETH? Is that what happened? Uh-oh. All right. We'll find out in a bit. 11 Bravo 88M 546 COSCOM 3rd Brigade Combat Team. Wow. Nice. All right, let's see here. At Crypto Talk Now, your XRP and your basketball skills are both the same, non-existent. That's obviously, towards Larry. But anyway. All right. I have not been on a basketball team since I think the last team I was on was the 8th grade team. Yep, that was the last year I played. Anyway, I still play basketball in high school, but not officially for a team. Anyway. All right, you're good. Okay, Rand's in the house. Hi, Tim. He's got something for you. All right. Let me see here. Another one. Crypto talk now. What's your best move? The head and shoulder fake pump. That's funny. All right. Let's see here. Rain says, I'm so happy today. My brother reached 2,500 quant. 2,500 quant? Like, what's his name? Tim the Tool Man Taylor? Wow. Yeah, God knows how much I'm so grateful. I mean, so your brother. Oh, hold on. Today, my brother. Oh, you're referring to me? I don't know. Did you? It must be you. So you're a quant whale. That's incredible. I don't even know what percentage you would be in. What we have to double check that. We have to look. A while back we had this. Let me see that. I think we have this still. The quant QNT top 10% thing. Hold on. I used to have this image. Let's see if I can pull up. I don't know. I can't view it anymore. But anyway, it had these rating, like a rating scale. Like the bottom is like like a plankton, a shrimp, crab. I think I was a crab. But yeah, you would have to be like blue whale or something like that, man. That is incredible. Anyway. All right. Uh-oh. This is gonna be something else. Papa Doc, what you gonna do? Uh-oh. Here we go. All right. Big watch, dude. Shout out to all the vets in the chat. I appreciate your service. We all do. Absolutely. Daniel Gate and Kyrie is good, but AI was a monster too. Different times. Yeah, different times. But I think Kyrie, well, here's the thing. Kyrie never won MVP. That's a good point too. Anyway. All right. He had a mass. Oh boy. Brian Dowie. First comment was just dress like a cross dresser and be an XRP maxi. I'll watch it later. What the heck? All right. Gary Missy, driving from the Bronx to Louisville, Kentucky. 8 hours left. Wake me up. Wow. See, I love it when you hear about people who listen to our show and they're on the road. Shout out to Linois. Was it Louis or Lewis? Can't remember his last name. And shout out to you and anybody else who listens to us on the road through Bluetooth and so on. I think it's really cool. When I'm, for instance, when I'm taking that trip down to the hospital, I might turn on Rich to Common Sense Crypto, if I could basically listen to say something like, hello, everyone. As with you always, this is Rich. Do another video on XRP, and then what's he say after that? So I hope everybody's doing great, really great in this great, great world. I'm going to start off with this. I used to know it by heart, but anyway. You know who does it really, really good? Edward Vincent. Shout out to Edward Vincent. He does it like almost spot on. As long as he sticks to the script, he's fine. All right. All right. Yes, that is a lot of quant. Droopy. I got to work on my Droopy. So it's been a long time since I've done a Droopy, the dog from Hanna-Barbera. It was something like this. I'm mad. Anyway, I got to work on it. It's been a while. I used to have it spot on. I only hold 100 quant. You got me beat because I would love to have 100 quant. Eventually I'll get to that though. 300,000 in quant. What? Yeah, that's whale. That's, shout out to Blue Whale Ricky. Blue Whale ran, right? Something like that. All right. Ran 2,500 quants or 2,500 in quant. That's a good point. That's your brother, not me. Okay. Well, either way, I mean, you should have your brother come watch the show or something, man. 2,500 quant. That's just wow. Like he's gonna be more than fine. All right. He was the one that taught him. Oh, well, then all the more for him to watch the show. Oh, wow. Wake up, Gary, with Nixon talking. Anyway. All right, let's get back into our news coverage. I'm going to highlight that. So we did do some of the portfolio notes. We talked about, for instance, this whole thing with Hedera. So now we're going to go ahead and jump into our next segment, and it's in regards to LCX. What, Max? What are you doing, man? You like ruined the format, bro. You're supposed to start off with quant first. Well, guess what? Once you see some of the information we have for you for LCX, then you'll understand why. Well, I don't get it, man. I'm not used to things that are like not normal. Ugh. Well, bear with me. Here we go. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. And if anything, here it is, right here. Check it out. Straight from this particular person, LCX Izzard. Boy, that's an unusual looking thing. He is a no investment advice LCX RBA Citadel Council specialized ultra low cap micro cap researcher, and he's part of the secret society. Ooh. All right. Well, shout out to him. Thank you for the information. He says you need to read this 1,000 hours of research about LCX. It will blow some minds. So with that said, we're going to do 1,000 hours of research. I expect you guys to be here all night long. Shout out to the guy who's on the road from the Bronx, and you're going to go all the way down to the South, or in this case, Kentucky. No, this show is not going to be 1,000 hours. I promise you. All right. It's going to blow some minds, to say the least. So I got more into this. Here we go. States specifically. Number one, the mother of all LCX threads, mic drop. Somo fuzz in the house, the hip hop till you don't stop with the mic drop, right? More than 1,000 hours of research and community participation. LCX will be one of the most important crypto companies in a new and regulated environment. That's the key thing that you guys all got to recognize, a new and regulated environment. And by the way, when you get to the XRP news, Crypto Lulu is going to pound that home just a little bit more for everybody. All right. There's no other crypto ecosystem and exchange out there which is comparable. None. All right. When we get further into this, look at this. I'll zoom in. So states specifically, double checking some settings. Let's start with a basic intro, right? It says thread about LCX and its unfair advantages. Now just hear me out. This is not super long. It says you understand why Monty Metzger, CEO of LCX, built the company different and why the 8 licenses are the most important part of building a regulated crypto ecosystem. And this is despite all the focus of all those people saying the whole thing with the SEC. I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into LCX. So you're going to get into LCX when everything blows up and we have regulatory clarity, because again, that might be a little bit too late. But let's face it, that's when FOMO happens. And if you hold the likes of LCX, that could be a good thing. All right. So when we get more into it, like we mentioned, some of these specific things, right? There is this, and it says regulation is the foundation LCX is building on, right? LCX is the most regulated crypto company in the world. By reading this thread, you'll understand why. Well, we're obviously doing just that. But here's the thing, right? So it says MiCA, EU crypto law, and KYC for unhosted wallets, U.S. presidential order to regulate crypto. Slowly, his main investment, for instance, a lot of us, right? I don't know. Some of us, I don't think LCX is your main investment, but it could very well be. Me personally, I'll be a little bit more diversified. It says, slowly, my main investment thesis around LCX comes into play. No other crypto ecosystem is legally better prepared for the coming storm. Now, in regards to this, I'm going to zoom in on this. This LCX thread, like he mentions, is explaining some of the core products as well as their key partnerships of LCX. You see some of these key partnerships, right? And whether you're a fan of the World Economic Forum and so on, they are partnering with them. Let's face it, Mr. Klaus Schwab has officially recognized the Liechtenstein Exchange. Some of those on that list. Shout out to the DGB community, right? DigiByte and so on. I'm glad that they take us so much. They're part of that list. You have, for instance, Polkadot, Layer Zero, right? Quant, obviously, big players, even Chainlink, and of course, Hedera's HBAR. On top of that, there's this. So, for instance, LCX is building the future financial system while connecting the banker world to the Web3 world. It's like a future over ledger for banks. Wow, did you just say that? A future over ledger for banks. Think about that analogy for itself. So there are a future over ledger for banks, and we already know that over ledger from Quant is literally the operating system that helps make 100+ blockchains interoperable. And oh, by the way, they're blockchain agnostic. Then this is a pretty bold statement to say the least for LCX, right? Right. Institutional and exchange, right? It's like a future overledger for banks and institutional and exchange. That's impressive. If I didn't even know about LCX, I would want to know more about that. That would impress me. The partnerships with Quant and DEG, and by the way, in the future, we're going to do a deep dive into DEG, says are a big part of this vision. And of course, as we see right here, we mentioned some of these things, but look at this. I'm going to state it again. LCX is building the overledger between the old banking system and Web3, everything based on the top of the most sophisticated blockchain law, Liechtenstein. It's a huge web of connections and partnerships you won't even realize after 100 hours of research, if you choose to do that. All right. On top of that, let's kick it to this part. LCX is the only exchange which has the tokenized euro, or EUR, I should say. It in uncertain times, while in stable coins like UST, shout out to Brian Dowie, right? For instance, actually, this is UST, as in, I forgot. We're not talking about USDT. My bad. UST, as in from what? Terra, DAI, DPEGing is the safe. Well, it's supposed to say safe haven. It's a 1-1 peg and is even more secure to hold it on chain instead at basically your bank account. So if anything, it says, there's problems with stable coins. Obviously, UST in the past, no longer even a stable coin, the unstable stable coin. And now some people feel as though USDT is going to happen with that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm with you guys with some of these debates, but it states and why there is already a solution provided by LCX nobody knows about, right? And that is specifically these ones that are quote unquote stable. The EURE, the USDE, and the GBPE. And you of course see some of these partnerships. Pretty impressive, right? On top of that, you have this. Here's a summary thread of all the big partnership announcements from specifically LCX. Obviously, like the ones I mentioned before, Quant, Polkadot, right? Some of the ones we mentioned again before. If you ask why LCX is pumping, then there's a reminder about all big partnerships and advisors of LCX. This year, most of them will be utilized, and that is something else to be said. There's one thing to see certain blockchains and ecosystems, and you're trying to get them to be utilized, right? Hence, why we're all hoping for Luna Classic to do well in the future. Well, not all of us. Some of us don't like Luna Classic, let's face it, but I'm a big fan of it. But my key thing is for 2023, I want to see the ecosystem be built up. But how about to already have, for instance, an ecosystem already built up? Or, for instance, have this particular example of why LCX is pumping and why, for instance, most of this, like I said, the year most of this will be utilized. That is something to be said. Because if this ends up being the year that's all utilized, then yes, I would agree with this statement. And that is basically, it says 2022. Let's face it, it's 2023 now. 2023 will be the year of regulation. LCX is the number one for me. Yeah. LCX is not the number one for me, but if anything, is definitely on my priority list. It's at the top of my list, like roughly like number 6, number 7 in that particular area. Again, I'll say it again. Quant, XRP, XLM, XDC. And then I don't know. I do have a fifth, but I'm going to say maybe it's LCX, ALBT, 6 or 7, something around that particular area. Be on the lookout for more of XD, or I should say LCX, and we'll bring it to you. We have more excuse me, I keep saying XDC. We have more LCX news for you here in a bit. I want to kick it back into the comments here for a moment. All right. So getting back into it, we do have 43 people here. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I want to go ahead and get back into some specific questions because I don't know if I can get to the point where I just read every single comment, but I'll do my best. Brian Dowie says, Rain, glad you put the 4K. That's amazing, by the way. Coochie Boy, I got 15,000. Okay, Auntie LOL trying to get the other letters. All right. Gary Missy, I'm sketched by KYC and KYB. And Crypto Talk Now's Larry says he got 2,500 Saitama. Yeah. Well, it's better than nothing, I guess. We all got to keep hodling, I guess, with that. I hold it too, so and I'm not that impressed with it anymore, to be honest. So I used to be impressed with it. A lot of people used to be impressed with it. Hence why they have over 100,000. Anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now. Anyway. Rain, Max, what is that juice? It's watermelon. Yeah. I don't like AML intervention. Hand pink wave. Oh, yeah, the sticky. Okay. Mr. Klaus Schwab, welcome to Crypto Talk Now, straight from Vaduz, Liechtenstein. I am your host, Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum. By connecting tonight, you will receive a special discount to your local Wiener Schnitzel. With that said, you will be able to get 20% off of an order of $20 or more. You will eat it, you will love it, but you will own nothing, and you will be happy. Auf Wiedersehen. All right, further down. Sorry. All right, let's go further down. Klaus blocked you on Twitter. That's funny. All right. Caroline likes Liechtenstein. Oh, I'm sure she does, especially at that compound where it all went down, right? Caroline is tied up at the moment. Ooh, boy. Sweet Caroline, huh? Bomb. All right. Justin Daniel just did this an hour ago. My ledger came in the mail earlier. Cool. Very, very cool. Trying to protect your stuff. All right. Michael Montclair's in the house. Good to see you, Michael. Okay, is that Grow token, that tree I see in the picture, a hint? Yep, so we can answer that for you. Teaching her gambling, Larry, mainly the, oh my goodness. Oh boy. I guess, yeah. Woo. I don't know. Brian Dowie. Oh boy, here we go. Tether going to be that next Black Swan, Max. Got to be that next Black Swan. I'm telling you. You're hearing it from Brian Dowie first. Justin Daniel, very similar to the extension he had to add for ERC20 coins to show in his ledger. Okay. Anybody else have problems with that? All right, let's see here. Michael Montclair, I got out a Terra Luna Classic. Concentration on the big 3Xs. Very cool. I'm also going to do an update to the 3Xs on a recorded. Be on the lookout for that. Having a conversation with Mr. Larry. All right, let me see here. Let me see. This is actually a good question. You know who might also know about that for an answer? Probably be Mike Cornwall. All right, Boomer Half is Sooner. I wouldn't buy Luna Classic with Larry's money. Okay. Daniel, I get what you're saying. You just want to buy it, period. I don't think you're a big fan of it anymore. Or I don't even know if you were ever a big fan. I saw some of your recent posts and so on. I don't think you're a big fan of it anymore. But, teach his own. I know Daniel Gayton is not wild on either. Luna Classic and Luna 2 merge. I will buy back in when they merge. Okay. Well, here's the thing. That is something that's not really talked about a lot. So, think about all the projects that left the ecosystem. Would they even have a handful come back if that was to happen? All right, Big Watch Dude. I swapped half of my Luna Classic for Quant earlier this summer. I wish I swapped the whole bag. Yeah, good point. For me, like when I made profits on VGX, I swapped to from VGX to Luna Classic. And, I don't know, I have like $4,400 worth of, Luna Classic, but I don't know. I could have had that much more quant, but that's could be the case in anything. I could have had that much more XRP or XLM or XDC. My thing, I didn't want to just focus on one. I wanted to be more diversified. But you guys got to do what you got to do. All right, thank you for everybody who maybe just came in. If this is your first time at Crypto Talk now, thank you so much for being here. If you're a new investor or just new to this particular channel station, by all means, ask us any questions, drop any comments that you wish to drop. We have a very welcoming community, and we would love to learn more about who you are and what you're all about. Consider changing your avatar to something custom to do just that. All right, Max, do you mind giving us a Larry impersonation? Oh, boy. All right, hold on a second. All right, I see we have 3 wonderful people here today. Thank you so much for joining us here at Crypto Talk Now. I show you that with my gratitude. And I'll tell you this much. Even though we have 3 people here right now, if we can get to 50 people, I'm going to beat the living hell out of this darn wall. I'm going to beat the crap out of it. I'm going to put my fist through it. And my fist is going to go through the drywall, but it's not really drywall. It's a brick wall. My dog's going to start barking like crazy. I'm going to wake up the whole neighborhood, but not really, because I live in a rural area where there's nobody's really at. I'm going to take a picture of my dog taking an epic dump in the backyard, and then Max is going to crop it, and it's going to be featured on the game show in the next week or so on a segment called Pump or Dump. And if anything, yes, can we start talking about crypto already, Larry? Can we start talking about it? It's not about the 98 Bulls. It's about the 96 Bulls, the greatest team of all time. But I don't want to talk about it. I would rather talk about The Last Dance. Can we get freaking excited here? Can we? All right. I'll come up with some better material later. All right. So to the newcomer, they're like, who is this crazy madman on the screen? Anyway. Yeah. All right. We living in the times when we getting a new phone sucks. That's a good point. Did I skip this? Hold on. Cool Cat, Decent Wallet does accept Flare. Just found it. Okay. Yeah, it does. That is a good point, Coochie Boy. All right. Let me go further down. Gary, love that ALBT. We have some ALBT news for you guys. Thank you for joining us in regards to that. Let's see here. Mass Debater. Listen, man. I had this conversation with Larry the other night, all right? Not trying to spill the beans or anything like that. So when we ended the show last night, all right, you got to keep in mind, we're ending the show. So we end the show, sometimes it's already clicked. Then we see a person's comment. Or if anything, the show's, it doesn't matter. It's already over. You mentioned something specifically, it didn't get read, and so I'll give you the benefit of the doubt where you're not like, and you're like, because we didn't read it, you're like, you said basically on you guys, right? So the way I looked at it was like, maybe you looked at like, man, come on, he didn't read this comment, man, it's on you guys. You know what I mean? So whatever the case be, you're back. I give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure it was just a perfect scenario like that. But thank you. Welcome back. And Daniel Gates states the Luna Classic community will kill the project at this rate. Well, I don't know about that. I know it's pretty divided, but I don't know about kill it. Coochie Boy, what's worse, importing custom tokens or trying to gather passwords to apps? Oh, probably in reference to what I mentioned earlier with HBAR. Yeah, I don't think it's for everybody, but it's again, some of that adoption. I think if anything, that's a good thing. Again, if that's what you're referring to, but yeah. All right, everybody's liking that, I guess. Brian Dowie, can we get excited? Yeah, can we get excited? We got exactly 2 people right here, 2 freaking people. Can we get excited? I'm gonna put a freaking hole through this thing. And he always does this. He points to the couch. What else does he do? That's unique. Obviously, he does the gratitude rock. The other thing I think is so funny is like everybody thinks that, like, let's face it, that he got it with the rock lady and stuff. That is simply further from the truth. Misinformation. All right. Then I'm gonna go dunk on Shaq. Yeah. That's right. I got a killer crossover. I'm gonna go dunk on Shaq. Good times. Hope you're doing well, Larry. Brian Dowdy, for the people keeping score. He does say that. He does say that for the people keeping score at home. For the people keeping score at home, we got exactly 2 wonderful people here tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Focus the trade. Oh my lord, Max going hand. What's up? Hey, focus in the trade. Good to see you. That's so funny. Hold on. Cool Cat nailed it. Dunk. Yeah, Cool Cat's right. The triple C. And then, Cool Cat's just chilling. He's just, he's on top of a little, the roof on the shingles, just looking down, just shaking his head like nobody's got dunking on Shaq. He's Shaq. Even if Shaq is out of shape, you got dunking on Shaq. All right. Brian Dowdy, Cool Cat nailed it. Dunk on Shaq. Yep. Daniel Delgado is in the house. Always puts a smile on my face when I see Daniel Delgado. Thank you for being here, Daniel. Tell them to put some respect in your name, Max. Well, then I'll just change my avatar to, Rodney Dangerfield because, I get no respect. Anyway, Tim Shea, who says, hey, and doesn't play Call of Duty by spraying far away, right? Like Biggie Smalls and have everybody hit the DECK. He says, Max, you get up close and personal in that short. Maybe use it to pick up the ladies. Yeah, I get too close. I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to make it like, because what's happening is if I hold it, here's the thing. I think I'm going to get one of those selfie stick holders. I mean, I don't know. I hate to use this analogy, but like, pardon the expression, I don't ever want to turn into one of those guys in which like I'm walking around town with it. Or, like one of those guys that have one of those Bluetooth things in their ears and it looks like they're talking to nobody and they make themselves look like they're a big wig. If this is you, well, I don't mean no disrespect, but I just don't want to come across as like, a quote unquote douchebag, you know what I mean? But I do want something that is steady and it's not shaking around, you know what I mean? Because on that first one I did, it is kind of shaky, but yeah, I know I was like super HD and super into it. And I was looking at it, I was like, wow, I bet people are like, wow, I never seen Max in this type of light before. Because it is super, super close. All right. Things that make you go, Daniel Gayton says he'll see us tomorrow on stream. This guy needs to go to bed. All right, understand. Have a good night, Mr. Gayton. All right, big watch, dude. Hey, Max, don't forget to mention his basketball prowess. Yeah, check out my killer crossover. You guys don't realize it. You may look at me like, I'm a guy who's, somewhat up there, but not really. I have a killer crossover. I can absolutely like break Kyrie Irving's ankles. AI got nothing on me. All right, you're dying. You guys like that stuff, huh? All right, that's cool. Let's see, Daniel, your internet better. I hope you don't have the problem Larry had. So Larry actually has really good internet. I know you guys don't believe that, but what happened is it's just the internet company would have his line, so having it buried properly, exposed to weather elements. It's like people that get paid for a job. Here's the thing: I don't care what kind of job you have. If you get paid to do a job, do your job. You shouldn't have somebody else have to come back and do it for you. You know what I mean? Little things like that just irritate me so bad. And guess who's always the first to complain about life in general? Those ones who aren't doing their job anyway. Get what I'm saying? I'm sure you do. All right. Let's see here. The Mass Debater says no drama. It ain't that deep. Well, I'm just saying. I want you to know that we do try to read comments, but you're like, oh, piss on you guys. Well, okay. See, but I did give you the benefit of the doubt. So give me the benefit of the doubt. Thank you very much. All right. Cushy boy, no referring to the new phone. All right, let me get towards the bottom. He points to his casting couch. Yeah, well, I don't have that right here right now. Larry can beat Shaq. Wow. Well, he thinks he can. So, Neil. All right. I don't think he did, but now they got me thinking. You really got me thinking. Dramatic cat effect. No, okay. On that cat. God. Okay. All right. FLA. See, this is where. This is why I know why you guys go to certain shows. You know what shows you go to. All right. Nothing. No harm with those other shows. I mean, but anyway, all right. So Mass Debater says FLR distribution came out today and prices dumped nicely. Good time to get in at those prices, guys. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I saw that it was roughly 55% down and so on. And it's just like if people got the free airdrop, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like why would you want to just completely dump it? I'm kind of with Rich Common Sense Crypto when he made some of those statements about Flare recently, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's on my watch list, and I think there's opportunity there still. Give me just a second. Don't call me Carlos. Huh. Yeah, Daniel, don't call me Carlos Delgado. All right, let me see where we're at. Mass Debater. I live in Europe. I am a football fan. Well, soccer. The type of football played with feet, not hand. Yeah, soccer. All right. How about this? I live in America. I live in America. And in America, we don't like to do that type of thing. That's why soccer is not our main sport. Baseball made it here in America. America. Anyway. All right. Please don't carry that phone stick around. Totally. Yeah, it's just kind of like it just gives that La Douche-esque feel to it. You know what I mean? All right, David Clay, Max, I know you love the quant, but are you gonna sell at some point and buy it back in? Yeah, at some point, yes. I have to treat quant. But like, here's the thing. I make statements about XRP. Maybe people feel like, well, you're going back on what you said and so on. Well, not exactly. So I am with Coochie Boy with his particular statement. Like, that's a good way to go about it, right? You have like 3 separate bags, right? Like you have a moon bag, or in this case, like with XRP or quant in the future and so on. You have, for instance, like an interest, you make interest off of that bag, if you will. But if anything, I think we should take profits along the way. But it depends on what your goals are set for. So for me personally, just because everybody's gonna dump their XRP at $10, that is just something I'll still hold at $10 is what I'm saying. The first goal for me is gonna be anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 for my XRP. I'll take some profits, but I'm always gonna keep like a moon bag, if you will, for because stuff like that just simply makes sense. But yeah, hopefully that answers the question. Same with quant. But if anything, I mean, it's also dependent on how much quant you own, not just me. So somebody just like, I'm just going to go with the minimum of 10 quant because, that's what Max said. Again, do your own research. Don't just go by everything I said. But, somebody just hold 10 QMT and you're like, well, eventually it's going to get to, $100,000 a coin in the future. I'm talking about like, a few years down the road. And you never DCA'd after that, right? Well, if 100,000 a coin is your goal, then do those people take profits along the way? Well, I don't know, but I think that's the point. The point is to make sure that you have maybe more than just 10 quant, right? A minimum quant bag for maybe a moonshot, another one for profits along the way of like, I don't know, 10K quant, stuff like that. So there's some people who are going to do that and some people who aren't, but whatever the case be, have that conversation with yourself or your family or whatever whoever it is, and say, look, here's my goals. Here's the expectations. Here's where I realistically see this thing going. And here's the plans I'm going to put in motion. I wouldn't just wing it as it happens in the future. Yeah, I'm not going to be that guy. I don't know. It just seems weird. All right. Max is not going to sell. Take this from me until 20K. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Obviously, like I pointed out before, I mean, if you hold, for instance, I think we did the math on this. So somebody was saying, they saw something about quant going to 11K by such and such year. They were like, I'm gonna take profits, and they're like, how many should I hold? And I'm like, well, technically speaking, I mean, if you're looking to be just a millionaire in quant, then that would be like you hold 100 quant. I mean, you could do the math on that. I think a few people are. There's a lot of people dumping it. It's like way down. I think a few people are. All right. Thank you for sharing the stream on Twitter. We really appreciate that. All right, there's just a lot of comments, and I really do appreciate that. People did get free airdrops. That's free money. Yep. And we did do a recorded video that covers some of the specifics as far as how much you'll get. Of course, the timestamp or the screenshot, I should say, of the time that it's basically in 2020. I don't know if it was June or where the case be, but we have all the information about who qualifies for those airdrops and whatnot. You'll catch flare around the 44 cent range. Okay. Wait, Larry begged the Rock Lady and Carolyn. Oh, geez. It's getting out of hand right now. All right. Baseball equals failed attempt at cricket. That's true. I mean, I play cricket as well, and it has a lot of similarities to cricket. American football equals failed attempt at playing rugby. Yep, I would agree with that. Can't you guys get anything right? We basically do our own adaptations of European sports and then make it around. All right, Brian Daly, Max, what would you do if you own 2,500 quant? Will you take some profit? Yeah, I mean, 2,500. Here's the thing. All right, let's do a little breakdown in regards to that. So, 2,500 quant. That's a good question. How would that break? That's a lot, man. That's like I said, being like a whale. So 2,500. I don't know. Let's try to think of a specific figure. I don't know. I mean, how would some people? I don't know. Some people, want to see at least 5 digits, right? That's that's a big thing for a lot of people to hold quant. Hold on. So he's got 2,500. I mean, yeah. Why wouldn't you? At $10,000 a quant, you hold 2,500 of them. You're worth 25 million. I mean, how rich are you trying to get? Are you trying to Are you going to be a minority stake owner for the Portland Diamond Project? They don't have official name of the team, obviously. You trying to do something like that? You trying to own a minority stake of a MLB franchise or something? I don't know. It just depends. All right. Why sell your quant? Why not use it for liquidity? That's a good point too. I mean, you guys all have very, very good points. Good problems to have, right, Max? Too many comments. Yes, it's a very good problem to have, and I'm really, really thankful for all you guys. You know who you are. Cool Cat Crypto, Brian Dowie, Tim Shea, Coochie Boy, the Cornwells, Eddie T, all you guys who've been watching us from good times to bad. We can't thank you enough, really. Okay, LA State's FLR is at 4 cents now. Good point. 2,500 coin equals Mo Money. Mo Money. Yep, I remember that movie. All right, let's kick it into their next part of our news. And again, for people just came in, if you could, please hit that like. It helps us maybe tick up to the next tier. Maybe we'll get to 50 tonight. That'd be pretty cool. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and kick it into some other news that we have for you. Here we go. Give me just a moment. This darn chair drives me nuts sometimes. Anyway, we'll get a new chair, Max. I've been watching you since last April, and you've been talking about this all this time. Yeah, I'd rather have more money in crypto than invest in my chair. Anyway, weird joke. I do have a brand new chair here. It's right next to me. That's a long story. Anyway, all right, let's get into it. We did cover a little bit in regards to Liechtenstein Exchange, aka LCX. We do have a little bit more in regards to specifically that. So this is actually an update in regards to what we shared with you the other day. So there's this right here. Now, whether you're a fan of BitBoy Crypto or not, I thought he did a good job on his particular brief segment talking specifically about LCX. There's another update, all right? And as we know, the price of LCX has been pumping. Well, can influencers have enough influence to pump the market? Well, I don't know if it's enough to thread the needle, but it's worthy to look into some of these things. So shout out to this particular guy who is Theta Mooned Me. He's obviously a fan of Theta. And he did share this. He states the crypto money pipeline of European banks, LCX review. Now, check this out. Before we get into this part from an update from BitBoy, and it's short, it's not too long. Look at this. I saw this when I was, scanning through LCX crypto Twitter or crypto Twitter for some LCX news. Listen to this for a brief moment. Compliance Suite, probably the most advanced KYC and compliance solution in the market, including blockchain analytics and travel rule implementation, states we also invested upfront into clarifications to issue and operate LCX token as a utility token in a fully compliant manner. Think about the terminology here. Think about where we're going with this. As a result, LCX gained 8 regulatory registrations by the Financial Market Authority, more than any other company in the country. On top of that, the Financial Market Authority, aka FMA, has been contacted by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. Ooh, wow, this is breaking. To collect and exchange information about LCX AG and its LCX token. Ooh. LCX received the information request from the FMA on September 2nd, 2022, and with a list of 16 questions from the SEC. Ooh, this is getting good. In the letter, the FMA confirmed, I repeat, confirmed, that SEC emphasizes that it is not investing LCX AG. Mic drop moment? Maybe. The SEC explains that there is an investigation against several U.S. individuals, also former Coinbase employees, in regards to insider trading. In order to be able to prove insider trading, the SEC must demonstrate, among other things, that the traded tokens are securities. Quote, securities. In the USA, according to American law, this is, among other things, a, quote, security if a so-called, quote, investment contract is present. According to the so-called Howey test, such a test is present if 1, money was invested, 2, in a joint venture, 3, with an expectation of profit arising from the efforts of others. In its lawsuit, the SEC assumed that at least 9 of the traded tokens represented such investment contracts, included the LCX token. On the bottom, like it mentions, LCX token is not a security. The token has been classified as a utility token. Now, this is something else. So I decided to look more into this. And of course, I'm going to take more of a deeper dive later. Be on the lookout for a recorded video that does just that, more of a deeper dive. Too long to do it on this particular live, but nonetheless, some of you guys do bring up the whole thing with the SEC, and it is worth mentioning. Now, that took a little bit of time to mention. We still have some LCX news in regards to, an update from, I guess you could say, BitBoy's point of view. It's not too long, but I want to go back in the comments just for a brief moment. And I won't do so long in the comments. I'll try to do just like a few minutes because if anything, I think the last time I went through the comments, it did take a while, but that's okay. But yeah, we have some more LCX news coverage for you. And I believe after that's Quant. So stay tuned. And thanks for being here, you guys. All right, 4 cents. You guys are looking at THR right, Flare. Hold up. All right. Mass Debater states, as I come in, I automatically land on the like button. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's the thing. Cool. I saw that earlier as well. And I think it was like 55, 60% down or something like that. So I know some people are going to make their entry point and some people are going to wait a little bit longer. So what's your guys' entry point? Are you going to wait for the 3s? Are you going to wait for this crash more? When do you think people will start leveling off? Me personally, I see this leveling off maybe after a couple more days. But to each his own. Yes, 4 cents, and was actually as low as in the 3s. Okay, cool. BitBoy did LCX. I'm in shock. Yeah, a lot of people are in shock. And he stated, he wasn't personally invested in it, but if anything, I think he needs to recognize some things that are happening in the market as we speak. Speaking of which, we're going to bring up coin market cap here in a bit. Because if anything, it's worth taking a look into when it comes to some of this. So I'm going to share this for a brief moment. And I will get back in the comments just here in a second. But I want to show you guys this right here. And I'm going to check out the 24-hour period. Man, I called it on ALI. I mentioned it before, you guys. I'm telling you flat out, if you just want something easy, right? Remember I was talking about the swing trading on ALI? This is up 84%. And if you want quick, easy access, I understand there's a lot of criticism about centralized exchanges, but if you want that quick, easy access, you can get it off of Crypto.com's app. ALI has consistently been one of those ones that do well for swing trading, or I should say bi-weekly / monthly swing trading. Don't believe me? Simply go to its link on CMC. Look into it for yourself. I'm not joking. So 84%. All right. So getting a little bit further down to it and so on. Singularities up 31%. But anyway, I could have sworn I saw something about LCX. All of a sudden radically changed. I don't think so. Let me pull that up. Oh, it did take a little bit of a dump, I guess. So it was up quite a bit earlier. All right, that's fine. I want to go ahead and get back into some of the LCX news here in a bit. I will read a few more comments, but stay tuned and we'll get into a little bit more in regards to that. And then, of course, Quant. CMC shows it fell 2 cents. Okay, let me go further down. Come to Daddy FLR. Yeah. I'm sure we're all waiting for a big drop off. 15% today remaining, 85% later, you believe, says LA. Cool. Total supply is what you were talking about. All right, let me just go ahead and just get right into it then. All right, so here we go. And it is regards to that particular one we had earlier for you, regards to LCX. Here it is. Just going to share it in a way for you guys to hear it. Hold on. All right, so here we go. And it's not too super long.
Hold up.
But you got to hear this. This is something else. We do try to do maybe 2 minutes on the clip. This one's about 4 minutes, but again, we'll be back for this. I wanted you guys to hear this. This is something else because it is getting a little bit more mainstream. LCX. I know, it sounds crazy, but it is. Listen to this.
Hold up.
How does a country half the size of Atlanta have the world's largest GDP and has its own national blockchain? And by the way, seems to comply with the ISO 20022 standard board. One word, money. Let's get it. Welcome to Bitcoin Crypto. My name is Ben. Don't forget to smash that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about Liechtenstein, however you pronounce it.
How you pronounce it, BitBoy, is Liechtenstein. All right, we'll be back.
We're going to go there. Liechtenstein has been around since the year 1140. It's named after the family that started the first monarchy and its capital city of Vaduz. It's landlocked on all sides and extremely mountainous. But somehow it's become a center for banking and it's uber powerful. And they even get a little bit of tourism for people that like visiting countries with weird names. But here's a very interesting fact. It has more companies inside its borders than people. It's so shady, it doesn't even have trade relations with the United States. And it isn't part of the EU, and yet it has economic relations with EU powerhouses like Germany and Switzerland. It's got the highest GDP per capita in the world, $180,000 per person. Now let's talk about the LCX exchange in the EU. Now you can't talk about the LCX token until you start to understand how important the exchange is. The Liechtenstein Crypto Exchange, or LCX, was made after the Blockchain Act was put into law. Masari, well, they consider the Blockchain Act to be extremely crypto-friendly. See, back in 2018, LCX knew that crypto was the future of finance. So they latched on to tokenization and exchanges, and they didn't look back. Now, LCX has a little bit of everything. And I do want to point out, this is definitely not a sponsored video. We've never had any contact with the LCX team, and we don't own any LCX tokens as of this moment. For the remainder of the bull run, I don't know. Maybe down the road we add some, but it's not in our plans right now. But LCX has spot trading, trading bots, a DEX called Fire Salamander. It has an STO token launchpad, and of course, it's the home of the LCX token itself. So talk a little bit about the LCX tokenomics. The LCX token is a utility token of the LCX exchange. Heard that one before. Similar to Binance Coin, you pay for trading fees, processing fees, subscriptions, and more. Now, it's an ERC20 token, and it's currently ranked in between 350 and 400 on CoinMarketCap.com. It has a current market cap at the time of this recording of about $38 million, and it's extremely fast. It's set up to be possibly the settlement system of Europe. It's 6 cents per transaction, and it can do 100 transactions per second. It's not insanely fast, but it's perfect for sending bank wires, and it's primarily going to be used by businesses. So take a quick look at the use case here. LCX is in position to be the crypto exchange for big banks and high net worth individuals in Europe. It has opaque business laws. You can barely see through them, kind of like Switzerland, which makes it ideal for mega corporations, maybe even Russian billionaires or oligarchs. Anyone trying to do business in the EU without being in the EU. With possible ISO 20022 compliance and pro-crypto regulation, LCX could end up becoming a major player in the next bull run, as we see adoption ramping up all around the world. Now, this project was recently in the news a few months ago, as it was part of the Coinbase insider trading scandal, where the SEC is suing an insider trading, and they took 9 coins and they said, oh, these are securities. We don't know which of these 9 coins will ultimately become securities for sure, but LCX is on that list, so be careful. That's all I got. Be blessed. Good boy out.
All right. So I guess you could say shout out to him for providing that. And it was kind of like more of a extended version. The other one's kind of like a short little snippet. So this one's kind of like a full length one. But anyway, let's kick it back into some of the comments just for a brief moment. Let's see here. Gary Missy. Transfer out of NFTs are blocked by Apple on Coinbase wallet. Yeah, you know what? I saw that happen a while back. And if anything, I think also, what was the other one? Polygon, with the whole thing with Disney, was doing that as well. And I think it's just the start of many different ones and so on. But that is interesting. Thank you for posting that. It's a nation state. Yeah, very, very low population, beautiful country. It's definitely on my list to go to in the future. Caroline is a big Liechtenstein fan. Wow. Love me some Liechtenstein. Rolls off the tongue very well. River Runner, hello. Guten Tag. Hello, everyone. Glad I made it. Is it you we're looking for? Lionel Richie. Why am I talking like this? All right. Brian Daly, gotta love Caroline's power steering. Oh, jeez. All right. River Runner, welcome, though. On a serious note, welcome. Mass Debater. Apple want their... I read that the wrong way. Apple want... Okay. I was reading all this stuff about Caroline rolling off the tongue, power steering, and then I read this completely wrong where I thought it said Apple want or went with their... Never mind. Anyway. All right. Hey, River Runner and Brian. All right. So let me go ahead and highlight that. We're going to kick it back into our news coverage. Let's see. This time around is actually with Quant. So we're going to start our next segment, Quant. So thank you to everybody who's here tonight. If you're just tuning in and you're just wanting specifically Quant news and coverage, well, we're about to start that. We have some information to share with you guys in regards to specifically Quant. Here it is right now. And that is just this. Look at this. It says it's just a winning game now, right? Look at this. So this was originally featured on newsbtc.com, which is kind of ironic, right? With all the Quant, Bitcoin maxis against Quant, but some are fans of it. Look at this. What to expect from Quant in 2023? Well, that's a good statement. Some people have asked me this, right? Some of you guys have asked me this, especially some in the recorded comments section. So it says, what to expect from Quant in 2023? Quant is believed to be by many one of the most promising coins for 2023. Although the token's price has dropped by 40% over the previous year, Sadiment tweeted a report stating that Quant's total supply in exchanges has decreased by 23.4% within the same time period. And we did report this to you guys yesterday. Now, it states this indicates the coin experienced an increase in demand in 2022, and it could, and could be set for a massive price rally as the crypto market recovers in the coming months. How do we know this? Well, in yesterday's coverage, we specifically gave you information in regards to what whale activity, and if anything, you saw 187 transactions of what was it, 100,000 or more for quant. So again, some more indicators to say the least. Pretty cool stuff. On top of that, here's the thing, and I do agree with this particular statement, and that is supply shock, right? Waiting for that supply shock. Quant is becoming more and more scarce, right? Literally day by day. Now, before we get more and more into the quant coverage, how about this for size? Okay. I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but I want to mention this because it's just really quick, brief news. It is in regards to Alliance block. So you could say that, we're jumping back and forth, but I just want you to hear me on this because I want to share this. So because I had problems with this particular link earlier for whatever reason, it just sometimes with Twitter, the links don't load up right or their servers get hammered. But look at this. So it states, what does, let's make sure I'm not muted. What does LSE PLC, which happens to be the London Stock Exchange, quant network, again, a little bit mixed into quant. So I guess you could throw in Alliance block with quant coverage. So it says, what does the London Stock Exchange quant and Alliance block have in common? Listen to what our co-founder and CEO said about it in a recent video with, listen to this, Tokenizer, the guy that I did that deep dive with, right? Remember that? So I thought that was really cool. And it's nice to, put a picture to the face. We're going to play some of this. I'm going to share it in a way for you could hear it actually in just a moment. And then we'll come right back to it. And again, thank you to everybody who's here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and show this right now. And this one's only 1 minute and 33. There is a full interview if you're more interested about this. And of course, here's the link, but we're going to play this. And here we go. Tokenizer, who is a really detailed blockchain researcher. He does really, really good threads. And he's interviewing Rashid Ajaha, who is the ALBT CEO and co-founder. Here we go.
We know you guys have a partnership with the London Stock Exchange that's actually leveraging Quant's Overledger. I'm really curious on kind of the progress of that and how that's been going about over, let's say, maybe the past year or so.
Yeah, absolutely. So London Stock Exchange, we have spoken with them lots, and now that we are basically really in the last phases of releasing the product that we really working on, this is where we will start the communication with them to start actually leveraging our technology. So we will come back to them. So this is why I'm really excited about the next 2-3 weeks. And actually, we are seeing a lot of interest into this identity solution. Now, Quant Network, so I have been one of the first, I would say, the second on their Telegram. So I respect a lot Gilbert and all the teams. They have been doing absolute amazing job. So we have built actually our bridge, not, I would say, it doesn't confront what Overledger has been doing, because Overledger is really for enterprise. This is very important, okay? So for us, once we start getting to the enterprise layer, I think it's very, very important to be able to leverage Overledger because their tech is secure, it's very important. Gilbert speak on our Inatba, and actually we are now part of Inatba, so I have been seeing some of the speech, and I really respect Gilbert, as I said. So for us, I think once we start the institutional offering, Overledger is a no-brainer to be able to use, and I advise everyone that want to attract institutional, they must use Overledger.
All right, really glad to share that. So if anything, you have a CEO straight from ALBT literally stating that, he recognizes how institutional money should utilize just that. What? Quant's Overledger, their specific operating system. And if you have other organizations or other blockchains in this, instance stating that, can you imagine how many more will be stating that further down the road, especially going into this particular year, 2023, and so on? That makes it, Quant be something that you should be proud or more bullish on, to say the least, because again, talking about the utility, if you have the likes of, ALBT CEO and others basically vouching for it and are impressed by it and so on, that's really, really impressive. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get one more out for you guys before I kick it back into the comments. Thank you to everybody who is here tonight, and it is a little bit more in regards to quant. Let me see real quick. All right, here we go. I saw this earlier and I thought we'd share it with you guys. So here it is, specifically 2023. We were just talking about this, right? You just heard, for instance, from the CEO of ALBT. It states blockchain use cases abounded in 2022, but we've only scratched the surface of what the technology can help achieve. How true. What's coming in 2023 for the interplay between distributed ledger technology and the financial sector or services sector? Well, Gilbert Verdian of Quant makes key predictions for the year ahead, and I decided to get more into this. When doing so, it pulls up this particular piece, and this was basically published yesterday, so it's pretty, hot off the press for the most part. So check this out, and if anything, like it says right here, there will be an agreement that the unregulated crypto experiment has failed, referring to a lot of things that you see, for instance, in DeFi and so on. Look at what he states on the right side. Only about 1% of developers have the specialist knowledge required to work with digital ledger technologies. Pretty bold statement, right? It says, with the collapse of FTX, the crypto winter, and the breaking of UST, 2022 has been a challenging year for crypto, as we know. But what is the key thing here? The key thing should be where it states, the collapse that followed served as a potent reminder of why we have financial regulation in place to protect the people. And here at Crypto Talk Now, we mentioned it a few times before, and that is basically this. Once we get regulation clarity, I think you start seeing a lot of things starting to take off. Whether you're a fan of regulation or not, there does need to be some things that have just that, the clarity. We need to have things strictly defined in a way in order to move forward in the right direction. Now, in regards to some of these, stringent rules, to say the least, especially with what's coming up here soon, probably by, I don't know, March, when, Congress comes back and basically, get some real legislation. I mean, let's face it, by the end of this month, they should be back, but they get the ball rolling, usually, typically speaking, in March. Governments and regulators will realize they can no longer expose consumers to unsupervised exchanges who seemingly had a license to print money and generate steep losses for those who could least afford it. That's why I'll always pound this home so many, many times. And that is, for instance, it's not that Bitcoin was made originally to be a hedge against inflation. It's supposed to be a hedge against money printing. Furthermore, the size of cryptocurrency market has grown significantly. It is now has the ability to act as a contagion to the rest of the financial system, triggering concerns from regulators who need to act and mitigate risk with appropriate rules. And we're going to see more and more of these appropriate rules being handed out. Like I mentioned, it's just a matter of time. I'm thinking literally March, and I'm going to stick with that. Recognizing the need for regulation is one thing, designing, agreeing to, and implementing is quite another. Yes, we will get from the stage where it's not going to be like what we saw, for instance, late November and in December and so on. We're just talking about some of this. It needs to be implemented. And if anything, we're going to again see that happen here soon. On top of that, additionally, as the crypto world becomes more staid and sensible, layer 2 technologies that were hastily and poorly designed will start to disappear. Here's where you get some of the particular statements of people saying, 99% of all crypto will go away. And some people think, well, how can that be the case if you have 22,000 cryptos listed on CMC and so on? It's kind of like what you see right here. The reason why someone will disappear is because some of those specific, right, layer 2s, and so on, they just haven't worked out. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some layer 1s that work out well. I think, for instance, Polkadot's layer 0 and other ones like that stick around. But there's going to be that case where a lot of these do, in fact, go away. And it's the ones that stick are the standout ones. Again, the innovators, how they come out from this. That's the ones we should be paying more attention to, because those specific ones have the utility. They last a test of time. All right. So it says the more useful and usable networks will be left intact. Literally what I just said, stronger than ever. The hype will die down, and crypto enthusiasts will, turn their attention to other use cases for blockchain. Or how about this? When it comes to understanding Quant's overledger, that particular operating system that allows 100 plus blockchains to be interoperable, blockchain agnostic, right? So I'm going to go further down. I like this example. It says, for example, in cases where startup funding is limited to small pool of sophisticated LPs, tokenization and the right regulatory framework could enable smaller investors, new specifically, right, promising opportunities. And I couldn't agree more. Moreover, the loss of confidence in unregulated market participants has triggered a flight to safety. Investors want to pursue the returns with experienced, regulated institutions that offer access to crypto assets whilst protecting their users and capital with proper oversight. We're going to talk a little bit more in regards to this. Even with Crypto Lulu, when we do the XRP segment, I think if anything, he's going to pound it home that much more in regards to regulatory clarity. Like it also shows right here, banks and asset managers will scramble to recruit blockchain specialists. Think about that in itself. This is why we put a lot of emphasis on Quant, right? Who's a blockchain specialist? It is definitely Gilbert Verdi and Quant. Now, for all the naysayers to say, well, if he's such a blockchain specialist, then why isn't Quant a blockchain? That is beyond the point. Here's the thing. It's that Overledger allows, again, I know we say it so many times, but that interoperability. If you're allowing a specific operating system to do just that, where they can benefit even that much more, or how about this, be more cost efficient, do away with waste, then that becomes significant, because you provide something that a lot of the other ones out there simply don't have. That type of thing, that type of, let's face it, something that is above everything, right? Like beyond, how should I say this? A layer that didn't exist over everything else. I guess maybe that's why they do call it Overledger. Think about it. All right. I'm going to go further down into this. And, there's the whole thing with JP Morgan and all that. But I like this last part. Well, it's not really the last part, but it says, rather than paying for service level agreements, data centers, cloud hosting, and other services, listen to this, financial institutions can and will leverage blockchain infrastructure at a fraction of the cost running the same transactions in-house. Gilbert Verdi has literally mentioned this many, many times, where he had, for instance, a different blockchain project come to him and so on, saying, this is costing us, for instance, $10,000 a week and whatnot, and he gets those expenses cut down. How is this done? Through the likes of Overledger. And if anything, we've covered this many times. On top of that, it says, efficiencies aside, tokenization could improve several areas with asset management. Here's a perfect example of that. Liechtenstein's exchange, LCX, right? They are literally recognizing the power of tokenization. Tokenized private equity products may come to market. I think it will. I think that's another thing we should pay close attention to. And that's going to allow capital to be raised via tokenization as IPOs and SPACs decelerate, right? And again, LCX takes perfect advantage of doing just that. With the combination, like it shows right here, of 19 of the G20 nations who are now piloting CBDC projects, which means governments will rightly need to address public concerns around individual privacy as part of a broader education around the potential benefits of CBDCs. You will see more in that supply and demand for the likes of Quant. Combine that with more scarcity happening on the daily, I think Quant is really, really making themselves stand out, especially when it comes to 2023. In closing, before we wrap up this particular coverage from this specific mention from Quant's Gilbert Varian. He states 2023 will see further focus on building CBDC infrastructure, and that should be the main key takeaway for you. Yes, we talk about CBDCs quite a lot, whether you're for them or not. But understand, when it comes to a utility run, if you see a lot of demand of various different companies will seek focus on building just that, the CBDC infrastructure, right? Like it says, that values consumer protection, privacy, and interoperability. Combine that with regulatory clarity happening here soon, probably within the next few months. There's going to be that much more want and need for the likes of Quant. If you want to read more about this, the whole thing, you could check it out straight from the Quant site. Simply look for this specific article, DLT in 2023, Out of the Blocks by Quant's very own CEO, Gilbert Verdian. I'm going to kick it back into the comments. All right, let me see here. We have next here is Brian Dowie. Max, could you have used the accent on that one? Yeah. Equilibrium states, rapid fire, give me your top 3 best utility of the Quant token aside from licensing fee payment. Rapid fire. Well, you really put me on the spot, huh? All right, I have to go with the typical one that we always do, and that is obviously interoperability. And then, basically 100 plus blockchains being able to be interconnected. On top of that, let's face it, when it comes to, what is the other one say? You said utility. The idea that you have real solid infrastructure being built. You can have, for instance, the Quant team to come into any specific CBDC and literally provide them with the tools that they need to get things going. Excuse me. At scale that nobody else is doing through the likes of Overledger, like literally leapfrogging projects ahead. How do we know that? LAC chain. Look more into it yourself. That is a real thing that's happening as we speak. And if anything, Quant did it before everybody else did. And I think other nations, or let's face it, even the European Union, they are taking notice of that. Obviously, the UK government is really recognizing that. I think, if anything, it's not just with CBDCs. We also covered here on the recorded when it comes to specifically helping out solve the supply chain crisis. Everybody talks about VET, for instance, NMW and so on, and that's fine. But if anything, when somebody says, well, I don't even need to get in Quant, I'm all about supply chain and so on. I'm just getting the VET, I'm just getting NMW and so on. Quant could even be that extra layer to get things done more efficient. So, it's just, there's so many different sectors. We're not even talking about just financial sectors. We're not even talking about just like, the whole thing with CBDCs and so on. Literally, you can apply all of this to Web3, and every single turn of the turn of the corner, wherever you want to call it, or, debate, Quant is always there, part of that particular mix. APIs, you name it. And that stands out for him. Stands out for me in regards to Quant. I apologize, guys. I'm a little bit sleep deprived because of the whole thing of going to the hospital in the morning, so I'm not as sharp. But I'm trying to fight through it. All right. Just a lot of times when you're worried about a loved one, like my dad, I just, I know he's gonna be all right and so on, but he's up there in age and he has short-term memory loss, so it's one of those things. All right. Let's see here. Good morning from Scotland. Good to see you, Mr. Shagans. Thank you for being here today or tonight, where the case be. Mass Debater states, Liechtenstein is so small. Blink and you'll miss it. Not really much there. It is a glorified village. Not much to do there, but drink beer or coffee. All right. That's not your voice, though. I still want to go there, though. But yeah, I know it's, like a small population. I think 37,000, something like that. All right, Brian Dowie, 180,000 to drink beer batter. Sounds good to me. I like beer and coffee. Sounds like my kind of place. Yeah, exactly. They probably have some really good ale too. I'm not a big like just regular traditional beer. I do like like some brown ale and stuff like that. I'm more of an ale guy. Tim, tell Caroline we are heading to Liechtenstein. Oh boy. 99% will go by. But yeah, I mean, I know that gets kind of overstated, right? But I mean, technically speaking, it does seem to be true, don't it? Hello, Cody Core. Cody Core is in the house. Thanks for being here, Cody. He says, Tim Shay, Maximum Max. He doesn't sound like that. Anyway, good to see you, Cody. See, Cody is definitely one of the OGs of the OGs. Literally remember being like the first official show with Larry. I think this was maybe after I was a special guest, but the first official show I did as a co-host with Larry at Crypto Talk Now. I do remember seeing Cody specifically. All right. Yep. Good to see you. Equilibrium. Bravo, Max. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I didn't want to just completely like read the whole article. Kind of want to do some summary, some commentary. And of course, let's face it, you want to read the whole thing. You can do that on your own time, right? All right. All right. Brian Dowie, no need to say sorry, bro. Thanks for doing the show. Well, you're welcome. And I do appreciate you, Brian, as always. LA, you're doing great, Max. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you. Appreciate that as well. TFO on the go states, hello from Boise, Idaho. That all rhymes, by the way. TFO on the go. Hello from Boise, Idaho. Say hello to Selma Fudd because you're going to, never mind, messed that up. All right. Good to have you here. I haven't seen you before. I would say, have a custom avatar, but you already beat me to the point. Thanks again for tuning in. And if anything, any questions, comments you have, feel free to, to drop it. And we have a very welcoming community. Guys, let's go ahead and welcome TFO on the go from Boise, Idaho. All right. Tim Shea says, the Liechtenstein Express. River runner. I've been to Liechtenstein Castle, man. True story. Cool. That is super cool. How was it? Do you recommend for anybody to at least go in there once? I can understand if you feel as though, once was good enough or whatever the case be, but, was it all that and then some? Like, my thing is this, like, in reality, I know that you think this, some of you guys might think this is kind of corny, but it's the truth, right? So the only castle I've ever been to, right, is the Disneyland castle, right? And of course, I know that the one in Orlando, Florida is a lot bigger. Don't get me wrong. But I want to go to a real castle, visit some of these real ones, right? The ones in Liechtenstein, some of the ones in Germany, some of the ones in Austria, and so on, right? Like, real historical places and so on. So would you go there again? I guess that's the main thing I would say. Or you just feel like, nah, it was cool. It was a nice experience, but I think I would just try to go somewhere else again. I like hearing about some of these things. All right. So, Brian Dowie, love to hear Larry read that TFO comment. Huh. TFO on the go. Yep. Calvin, thanks, Max. Well, you're welcome, Calvin. Good to see you with the T6 glider. All right. Thanks. Awesome show. Well, thank you for saying that. Appreciate it. Say it, Larry. Brian Dowie, you read my mind. Well, when Larry comes back, he can do that. The Mass Debater states it was quite expensive in Liechtenstein. I'm sure it was. You the man, Larry. Yep. All right. Let me just read that one real quick. Real coolness. Yes, I do it again. Cool. That is cool. Glad to hear that. Okay. So from here, we're going to bring you guys some more of our particular coverage. Thanks again for tuning in tonight. I'm going to show you guys this other one. And it is in regards to quant. So we do still have some more quant coverage for you. Here we go. So it says, it doesn't matter how much you have or even if you don't have any. Well, what do you mean if you don't have any? You got to have some, not financial advice, but it says, but you must understand that Overledger is going to be one of the most integral hybrid solutions to interoperability of the digital assets in the future. Institutional DeFi, centralized or CE DeFi, public and permissioned, right? Look at this. So it says, this specific example from the Institutional DeFi Design Exhibit 5. The 3 key design choices of blockchain. Listen to this, right? This is kind of our educational side of things, right? So you have blockchain refers to the type of network used along with the level of data security and privacy, right? On the left, you have, for instance, public permissionless. In the middle, you have, for instance, network type versus public permissioned. Key thing here. So, in this corner, the undefeated, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, public permission versus public permissionless for the blockchain bout of the world. Transparent versus data security and visibility. Spectrum of choice versus private. Public permission networks, on the other hand, can facilitate the use of controls to authorize user access and restrict the visibility of transactions on these networks. This enables easier implementation of checks and balances, along with traceability for investigation purposes. As institutional DeFi models are still being explored, it is possible a public permissionless blockchain could be modified to ensure it is unstable or usable at scale by institutional participants. I know, I was trying to mix in something like, the whole introducing Mike Tyson or something, but I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, try to make it fun for you guys. All right, check out this particular example. So it states, I don't even know if Larry can even put this in the particular recording. Sorry about that, Larry. But look at this. It states Exhibit 9, Project Guardian pilot setup. And we have briefly talked about Project Guardian, right? But here's something I want to point out, right? Open interoperable networks, they avoid fragmented and private exchanges or markets. Now, in regards to that specific pilot, public blockchain, you can deploy solution on public blockchain for transactional activities. Of course, you have the trust anchors. You're going to be able to verify credentials, issue digital to digital identities. Man, some of this stuff is tongue twisters, right? To trade only with verified counterparties. But how about this asset tokenization? We're talking about this a lot, and especially when it comes to the likes of LCX, right? So you can ensure operational feasibility of asset tokens. In regards to that pilot, tokenized deposits and bonds, issue and transfer tokenized assets using a public blockchain. And you get a little bit more in regards to this, right? But here's the thing, right? In regards to a public blockchain, here's an example. Polygon was selected for its potential to allow higher interoperability of tokenized real-world assets and DeFi products, which allow participants to develop their own solutions based on a set of agreed-upon technical standards. The pilot leveraged tokenized assets created by the co-authors across 2 work streams. In work stream 1, Onyx by JP Morgan, focused on tokenizing Singapore dollar SGD deposits, and SBI digital asset holdings focused on tokenized Japanese yen JPY assets in workstream 2. And then here's the thing I want to mention real quick. So you see, for instance, they have tokenized assets with Japan. We know that there's a lot of regulatory framework that is being introduced to Japan. I think when we get more regulatory clarity, be on the lookout for the likes of, for instance, Jasmy to be something that really will stand out. In the future, we're going to do a deep dive into Jasmy. I personally hold Jasmy and so on, but at these particular price levels for Jasmy, I'm extremely bullish on Jasmy. I feel as though it's one that everybody should hold. It's not financial advice. That's just my own personal opinion. Because of the way I look at it is that risk to reward ratio. Why wouldn't I want to take a chance on that? And I did. I got over 100,000. I am looking to DCA more into Jasmy. I know this turned into a Jasmy thing, but I want to point out some of those things. On top of that, listen to this in regards to quant interoperability. It says open interoperable networks. So for instance, explore the use of public blockchains to build open interoperable networks that enable digital assets to be traded across platforms and liquidity pools. This includes interoperability with existing financial infrastructure. When people ask about quant, this is I guess you could say the third thing I should have mentioned about the utility to the person that asked me this earlier. This is one of the key things, because if you're able to include interoperability with existing financial infrastructure, then from there, you're able to use legacy systems And if anything, that pounds it home that much more for understanding the utility that you bring at scale that nobody else is technically doing. This is why I mentioned that quant, in my humble opinion, is a monopoly, because there's nothing else out there yet that competes with this. Okay, so it says open interoperable networks can mitigate against the formation of walled gardens and digital exchanges and fragmented private markets. So an example of just that, just double checking my settings. Um, I always use the gaming reference, right? So the longest time, when I'm playing a game, right? So, this specific game, it's on the Steam network, right? And somebody from, for instance, Origin wants to play with me. How it used to be a long time ago is they couldn't do that. Or how about this? You talk about Call of Duty, right? Somebody plays it used to be this way, right? So if you played on an Xbox, a guy on PlayStation could play with you. But what has happened recently, you have technically interoperability with those specific platforms. You're able to have a guy who's on PC, he could play with guys on Xbox and PlayStation. I know that's a different example. It makes perfect sense. And if it makes perfect sense with the gaming world, right? Because you're allowing people from all platforms play interoperably with each other, right? It makes that much more sense for the financial, structure of the world and so on. And this is why Overledger is so darn significant. Now, getting a little bit more into this before we kick into the next part of coverage. Exhibit 3, notable benefits of DeFi. Now, we know quite a bit of DeFi, right? We know a lot of the benefits and so on, but what's the quant connection, right? So it says interoperability across asset classes and markets aggregates liquidity, enables more globally integrated finance industry. Think about that. Enables more globally integrated finance industry. There's a lot of demand to have those integrated, not just through the likes of quant. Obviously, let's face it, XRP, XLM. What are you seeing? You're literally seeing Swift being upgraded specifically to what? Some of these things that utilize some of these technologies, blockchain technology. All right. So I thought this guy did a good job. Lord Quantonian. All right. And like he mentions, it doesn't matter how much you have or even if you don't have any, but you must understand that Overledger is going to be one of the most integral hybrid solutions to interoperability of digital assets in the future. All right. In closing, there's one more I want to mention, and that is this. I did forget to mention this. It says innovative DeFi solutions amplify liquidity of tokens and tokenized real world assets, given lower participation thresholds such as decentralized exchanges. And that's significant because if anything, we will see more of that demand kick in. And of course, I just wanted to wrap that up with specifically that. Not wrapping up the show yet, but wrapping up that particular news piece. Gonna do a stop share. And if anything, the next part will be XRP, but we're going to kick it back in the comments here briefly. So thanks for tuning in. The next segment will be XRP. But let's get right into some of the comments again. Hit the like. Yes, if you haven't done so, it does help. Mass Debater states, you a poet, and you didn't know it. So why don't you press the like button so you can show it? Don't know who the heck this guy be? Let me tell you something. He's Max of the DPG. In 2013, we turned 21. So why don't you come join my gaming group and have some fun? Don't turn this way or turn that way, because when you play with Max, you're going to spray from far away. Get with Tim Shea and say hello. No, don't say that. He says, hey, now it's time for you to pay. Drop that dime or the super chat if you happen to like it like that. Oh, anyway. All right, let's see here. Cody Core, I'm in Idaho, getting buried in the snowstorms. You know who also lives in Idaho? Is Sean the Crypto Smith, Boise, Idaho. What part of Idaho you live in? My grandma, God, I miss her so much. I don't know if you guys still have your grandmas around. You're blessed if you do, to say the least, especially if you have a good grandma. I miss my grandma like you have no idea. I miss my mom like you have no idea. I hate looking at a table with empty people. Anyway, but what part of it are you in? My grandma was born in, or I should say born. She was born in Seattle, Washington, but she was raised in Nampa, Idaho. And of course, I haven't even been to Nampa, Idaho. It's on my list. I want to go there. I want to visit places that my family used to be. Let's see here. Hit that like. You have Brian or Tim Shea. Brian, did you see Trudeau is buying a missile defense system for the Ukraine from the U.S.? Wow, I did. Well, I know you asked him that, but that's a wow for me too. All right, Crypto now. It's all good, Max. Be yourself and have fun. Well, thank you, Larry. Let's see here. Max loves Liechtenstein. Yes. Welcome to Venus, headquartered in Vaduz, Liechtenstein. You will eat your chili dog and you will be happy because after you pay for all these expensive chili dogs, you will own nothing, especially any crypto. Get your crypto off exchanges, not your keys, not your crypto. Auf Wiedersehen. All right, sorry about that. All right. Well, not really. I'm not really sorry. All right. Yes, Tim. Nobody likes here, or hold on. Nobody here likes him. Sounds like we both have the same problem. Brian Dowie says, "You guys, we are good with Trump, in my opinion. Nobody likes Trudeau, but he's gonna be here for a while." Oh yeah. Well, a lot of people feel as though Trump is going to be the. You know what? I don't know. I mean, I try not to get political, and this is not me getting political. It's just me, stating like how I kind of feel about it. If somebody had asked me, this is not an endorsement, but somebody had asked me like, will Trump be the 2024 president? I don't see anybody on the other side competing with him. I think personally, I'm just going to call it right now. I think Trump will be the first president since Grover Cleveland to have been elected president, lose re-election, and then become president again. Only one other president has done that, and it was Grover Cleveland. I think Trump ends up being the second president in U.S. history. Is that me being political? No. It's just me stating how I feel. All right. Let's see here. Brian Dowie. Trudeau shut down bank accounts of many people here. Some of them are still in jail. Makes no sense to me. Yikes. Yeah, thanks for letting us know about that. That doesn't make sense to me. Is there any specific reasons for that, though? I don't know. All right, mass debater. Larry, I don't understand. In the U.S., one whole country, you seem to have different regulatory rules per state. In some states are more stringent than others. Why don't you have countrywide rules? That's what a lot of people from Europe don't understand, and that is true. It's not just when it comes to crypto and stuff like that. That is literally how it is. And then from there, for instance, you have certain states that pass certain laws. And then a lot of times those specific laws go against, like for instance, federal law. And then from there, it goes to, for instance, the Supreme Court to make a final ruling decision to have like what is referred to as a federal mandate. But yeah, there's these periods of time where they can go against the grain, if you will. I have relatives that live in Europe and so on. Like I have some aunts and cousins. They actually live in Germany. I have my other cousin, she lives in, for instance, the UK, and they don't get it either. And they may never get it, but it's okay. But yeah, trust me, you're not the only one who maybe gets frustrated or doesn't understand it and so on. But yeah, here's the thing. We're the United States of America, but when you hear things like that, it doesn't sound like we're too united. But you got to also keep in mind, if you look at the Constitution, I don't want to get I don't want to be history teacher Max right now. Like, when I teach history in the classroom and so on, we mentioned a lot of these things. It has a lot to do with how our Constitution is drawn up and so on. It's called state individual rights or state individual laws. And there's a big breakdown on how that works and so on. But at the end of the day, like, for instance, the president of the United States, he can introduce something, and it's got to get passed by Congress and so on. But then you have states that go against that. And then, of course, when we have, in crypto, we talk about, regulatory clarity. Well, how about this? For the United States of America, you get that clarity, if you will, the regulatory clarity from, for instance, the Supreme Court of the United States. And that's, I don't know. A lot of people think it's the president that has the final say. Well, with a lot of things, yeah. But in reality, when it comes to those specific laws, it's actually the Supreme Court. And that's why that matters. Anyway, that's a whole other. We don't want to go from crypto talk now to social studies class with Mr. Stanley, because that actually was a real thing. It's not a real thing right now, but that was a real thing. I am actually a teacher, and I do love teaching social studies, but not right now. We're not going to do that. Max was part of the dog pound in the 90s. I love DPG. Dog pound. Diggity Daz with the blast from the past. When I get with Brian Dowie, gonna get in that. Never mind. But yeah, Daz Corrupt, Badass. You have Superfly. You have some of these other guys. Was it Trey D? There's a lot of other rappers other than just Daz and Corrupt. Everybody thinks Daz and it's just Snoop, Daz, and Corrupt. Nope. Look into Superfly. Look into Trey D. Some of those other guys were R.I.P. Nate Dogg, right? He was part of DPG. And if they ever do come out with an official Chronic 3, I hope to God that Dr. Dre literally finds some archived, really good chorus of Nate Dogg. I don't care what anybody says. Like a Chronic 3 album is not going to be a proper Chronic 3 album if you don't have Nate Dogg at least on a few tracks. I'm not saying he has to be on all the tracks, but just when it feel right. All right. Hello to you from Twitch, Pedican. Thank you. Mass Debater. Okay, dropping some bars. Yes. Longer than people think. I just don't do it on the show that much. I mean, because sometimes when I do it on the show, people are like, oh, that was a corny rap mix. Well, I wasn't really trying, but Mass Debater. Oh, hold on. You're on the bottom right-hand corner of Idaho. Interesting. So you are basically... what are you? You're close to Utah, huh? Mass Debater. You guys still seem to be on the Wild West tip. Get it together, guys. You're one country. Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that. Kind of like Coach JV, Warriors rise. Get your ish together. All right. Too funny. Thank you very much. Cody Course says he'll vote for Trump again third time. Yeah, I think a lot of people are. How about this? I mean, here's the thing. I'll say this for right. I think Trump is complete, total, a-hole, right? But the thing is, does he do a lot better job? Like, here's the thing. Don't get me wrong, right? I think Obama had great speeches. He's a very good person at like his speeches. Really speaks really well. But just because you're a great speech person, right, doesn't mean you're necessarily a great, president. You know what I mean? So my thing is, I'd rather just look at key figures, like, whether you're, I sound like I'm a big Trump supporter. I want to try to stay as neutral on this as I can, but I want to state this. There is something to be said in which when Trump was president, we had record high job creation, right? Like literally the highest in I think it was 40 or 50 years, something like that. Those are some of the things I look at personally. I try to put, politics aside. For the record, I'm a registered independent. And yes, I've voted for both sides in the past. You know what I mean? So my thing is, I'm not going to put party over country. I vote for whoever I think is the best candidate out there. And then when I see how the person performs. And just because, I have one friend and I love him. And yeah, we don't see eye to eye with stuff. And that's another thing. I don't see why people is you're going to disassociate yourself with friends and family just because they vote a certain way. Teaches on, right? But he's just like a hardcore Biden fan, you know what I mean? Or just Democrats in general. I'm just it's kind of frustrating because it's like he's at that point where it is party. Like he's just, I even said this to him, so it's not like me talking crap, but it's literally, it's all about, he's just sold on the Democratic Party no matter what. And it's just like, yeah, man, this is why I'll never be, registered to one specific party. You know what I mean? And in regards to hip hop, I did have that one line I said in my one and only music video I did. That's on MaximusCrypto, and basically it goes like this. It goes: Democratic liberals, Republican conservatives, we need a new party with new alternatives. How true. People will say, well, that's the Libertarian Party, but I'm talking about where they literally have that mainstream stamp, if you will, where they have actual people in office. Maybe a little bit from like a city council perspective, but you definitely don't have it at the national scale. All right. Going further down, Me3 says Salamander. Yep. All right. JG says the charade of politics is to make voters think that the personal narrative of the candidates affects the operation of the corporate state. It doesn't really matter on the fundamental issues, whether, yeah, that's a good point. Thanks for sharing that, JG. Good to see you. Brian and Max, you didn't hear about the truckers' protest? People rushed into government buildings. Yes, I did hear about that. Sorry about that. Sometimes I have to be reminded of that. Yes, I did see that. JG, whether the president is Republican or Democrat. Yeah, that's a good point. You should have the best interests of the people. But what happens is by the time they get to Washington, let's face it, they get corrupted with the best interest of those who spent money on their campaign or where the case be to help them get elected. And then they lose sight of that. But that's why they call it politics. Think about it. Right? There's politics at your job. There's politics in YouTube content creation. I never thought I would ever see that. There is. It's ridiculous. It's like, oh, how are we politically with these people or that? It's just like, please, I just want to make content creation. I don't want to get involved in the politics, but there's politics in everything. JG, it's a selection, non-election. Don't fool yourself. Yep. All right, Master Bear. Yeah, you guys really are the opposite of what you say, like departments of justice, give me a break, or Central Intelligence Agency intelligence. Come on. Yeah. We're not perfect, but I still would choose to live here compared to a lot of other countries. Don't get me wrong. There's probably some countries that have a lot more better healthcare, better everything, quality of life, cost of living, all those things. But, I think when the chips are down, I still choose to live in the good old United States of America. That's just me. Why? This is home. Like, how about this? You're going to think this is crazy, right? So I'm from Portland, Oregon, right? So Portland, Oregon, to a sense, has gone to hell in a handbasket when it comes to a lot of, let's face it, politics and so on, but still home. That's where I was born. That's where I was raised. And eventually I want to go back home. I haven't been home for 23 years, but it's still home and I miss it very much. But I probably won't live right in Portland. I'll probably live like a little bit on the outside in a nicer area because Portland has, from what I've seen, gone to hell in a handbasket. It's sad. All right. Another thing, wife beater. Really? Huh. Okay. Brian Dowie, Bader, what do you guys call it? I don't know. Trump is lesser two evils, still a POS, just a pawn. Yeah, all of them are. A lot of them are just puppets, right? All right, this turned into political talk now, but that's okay. Was it because the nature of timing Trump's presidential term? Remember, we were going through a pandemic. It was a different time. I will state this. This is how I personally feel about it. And then after that, I think I'm going to wrap it up with the whole political talk. And that is, I honestly think what did it for Trump was the handling of just that, COVID, the pandemic and so on. That combined with some people say, no, it's more about his response to the whole thing with, for instance, the Black Lives Matter thing and whatnot. I can understand that, but I think if you had to pin it down to just one thing, I would definitely say it's the handling of the pandemic. A lot of people let's face it, they're kind of like on the fence. Let's face it, right? We'll never, I should say we, but people in itself, they'll never quite understand, or maybe they do understand, excuse me, the whole thing when it comes to, you can never technically convert a person that's like a diehard Democrat to become a Republican to a sense, right? There's always people who are quote unquote moderates, right? Those people can kind of sway over, right? My thing was this: you had a lot of fiscal conservatives, like the diehard, let's face it, guys that are like, part of like the old school like Republican Party and so on, right? Like, Reagan style conservatives and so on. So you had a lot of those guys who were on the fence. I think you lost a lot of those type of people because of some of the policies or how Trump went about saying things. So you lost a lot of those votes, and that was enough to, I guess you could say, have the likes of Biden come in. That's just how I personally feel about it. You guys feel as though I'm wrong about it and so on, but I think that was the standout thing. I think if the pandemic never happened, I don't think Joe Biden would be your president. I'm just being honest. I don't see it. I think that was the thing that got him over the edge, or just to fill in that gap, if you will. But we can agree to disagree, and no, that's not an endorsement for either one. All right, let's see here. Where are we at? Let me see. You see UC Bear Lake down in the right, had corn half in Utah, half at Idaho. That's the spot. Okay. Was it because of the nature of the timing? I don't know. I'm probably going to get out of this conversation right now. Sorry. Yeah. Truth or talk, huh? All right. Crypto Smith is in the house. Sean, good to see you. Hey, Cody Core, I know where Bear Lake is. My son goes to college in Pocatello, and we live in Boise. Cool. I did point out that you live in Boise earlier. Brian Dowry, sorry it came to politics, Max. Best not to talk about politics. Yeah, that's my thing. I mean, I may ask people, like, say, hey, if you happen to be of faith, say a prayer for my dad and so on. But like in my gaming community, like we've been around for 21 years. One of the main reasons why that we've been around for 21 years, because we have 2 strict policies: no politics, no religion. Why? Because it's so divisive. Because literally you have people come in and then they end up getting fights. Like, here's my thing in gaming: what united us all in gaming, right? Playing Medal of Honor Allied Assault, or playing Call of Duty, because obviously, the Medal of Honor franchise like had their heads up their butt and they lost everything and went to Call of Duty. That's beyond the point. Then we play games like Battlefield and so on. What unites us all is common ground. Common ground is what? Having a good time, playing video games, and be on the same team and be in squads. And all right, guys, I'm going to A bomb site. Cover me. I'm gonna lay down some covering fire as they go plant the bomb. My buddy's in the back, window cellar. All right, Max, I got A covered. All right, keep scoping the position. All right, Max, I'm gonna throw smoke left side. All right, planting the bomb. All right, it's planted. All right, buddy, got you covered. We're all united. It's fun. I'm having a blast. What if out of nowhere? All right, Max, I got you covered at B. Oh, damn. I just saw, for instance, that the Democrats passed this legislation. What? Huh? Why are you bringing that up right now? My point is, there would be, I know it sounds nuts, but there would be random things that would happen like that. And it's so divisive, because it's like we're united based on gaming. And the divisive thing is obviously the politics and the religion. And it's just the way it is. I mean, for the record, yeah, I'm a Christian. I'm a sinner, though, at the same time, not perfect. Some people look at, have said to me in the past, you're a Christian. You can't watch these type of movies. You can't do this. You can't listen to, I can't listen to Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah. Stuff like that. Are you kidding me? Because I'm a Christian? That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, it becomes divisive. And then sometimes a lot of this stuff, it also gets to the point where you find out certain things about people that you didn't even know about them. Like where, some people that you're friends with, to a sense, where they'll go off the deep end, literally, and you're like, holy crap, man! Like, not only is this person my friend, but he's kind of a nut. You know what I mean? So there's things like that, and I'm sure you deal with it and so on. And I think a lot of that, let's face it, comes out at the dinner table, especially around Thanksgiving. I don't get to experience that no more, because literally it's just my dad and I, and he's the only family I have here in Arizona. All the rest of our family is like either in Oregon or around the other areas, but as you guys know, right? Thanksgiving is very, very divisive. All right, let's get further down into some of our comments, and then we're kicking into the last part of our coverage, which is XRP. Yeah, you know me. If I accidentally skipped any comments, it's nothing personal. Let me see here. Bitcoin. Yep. All right, let's see here. Crypto Smith, Boise State football team used to score a crap ton of points. Yeah, I remember it was back in the mid 2000s. Or maybe it was like 2010. I can't remember. They had a Fiesta Bowl, and Boise State was down here. Anyway, XRP, XLM, yep, XDC. If you don't talk about it, you stay divided. Yeah, well, then I stay divided, I guess. All right, COD, Maximum Max, you got us to play tomorrow. Yeah, probably be a while, because I need to upgrade my system. I'll say this much. If you want to see a really good video I did a while back, it got over 120,000 views. I don't know. Maybe you know what? It is kind of, I'll share a little bit more XRP. And how about this? We'll have some bonus coverage of whoever's left. And let me know, honestly, if you think as though, man, I need to fix this thing, share. If you feel as though I should try to get back to doing some of my gaming stuff at least once a week, I honestly want some of your opinion, whether you're gaming or not, about some of this. So let's see here. The Crypto Smith, Waddy, Daniel, Gayton, Larry, and Max all on tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, CTN Roundtable. All right, I'll put a thumbnail out. Thank you for that. And looking forward to it later. All right, hold on. Let's get into some of the XRP news because I know some of you guys have been waiting for that, or some people are just tuning in. Thank you for joining us at Crypto Talk Now. So here we go. It is, I believe, from the great Crypto Lulu. Yes, it is. So I'm going to go ahead and present this in a way for you to hear it. This is going to start our next segment, which is XRP. Now, especially if you're following the likes of Rich of Common Sense Crypto, he mentions, for instance, the BRICS countries quite a bit, right? So it says one way BRICS coin can become real. It says, he gives kind of an example in regards to this. Now, I'm going to go into watching that particular deep dive because I do follow Crypto Lula and I love how he speaks. Does great coverage. He teams up with the 3-2 Warriors Academy quite a bit. But here's a glimpse of that. Not that I'm promoting the whole video. Well, in that way I am. But listen to the statement he makes about this. I think this is something to be said. This is 40 seconds. We'll be right back.
There is only one way the BRICS nations get their own coin, and I don't think it's in the near future. It could be in the distant future, but there's only one way they do it, and that's the reform the status quo strategy. That term was coined in this research article that I've just read, 97 pages, about how the BRICS nations de-dollarize their financial system, along with all the different strategies that the nations can take to actually de-dollarize. This obviously has huge implications for how the US stands in the whole world economy, but also leans itself perfectly into what we believe is the new financial system with XRP as the center of it all. If you want my full thoughts and my full video on this, I made a decent sized video on my YouTube channel.
All right, so shout out to Crypto Lulu in regards to that. I'm gonna show you guys one more, and it is, I think, also from him specifically. Give me just a second. All right, and hold on just a second. Oh, it is this other one. So this is towards the last one that we have. It is a little bit more for Crypto Lulu. Here we go. So on this one, it says, do I think it's a good idea to try and earn passive income from an AMM? Check this out as well. This one's a little bit, further explained. It's not as quick as that last particular video. It's about 1:25. And then if anything, I do want to hear from you guys what you think in regards to some of the things that he's mentioned specifically on this particular clip. And then we'll come right back.
Do I think it's a good idea to try and earn passive income from an AMM, an automated market maker like Uniswap? Let me put it this way. Would you drive on a road without rules? Would you drive on a highway without signs, without lanes, without barriers between the oncoming traffic? To me, that's what DeFi is. You're basically going into this whole system without any rules, and everyone's chaos, and everyone's trying to make money for themselves and survive on their own, and it's everyone for themselves. But when you drive on a highway, you've got signs, you've got lines on the road, you've got a barrier in between the oncoming traffic and yourself. There's safety and protocol and a system involved with that. And to me, that's what the regulated financial system is like. And whether you like it or not, whether this boils your blood or makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up, regulation will be the absolute best thing that happens to the cryptocurrency space, especially those who hold the tokens that will be used in this change, like XRP, XLM, and XDC. For me personally, if I'm getting into staking or earning a passive income with my cryptocurrency, it has to either be through a regulated and insured environment like a bank, or on the other side, in a riskless environment like on Flare Network. If you want to hear more about Flare Network and that side, if you want to hear about either of those, make sure you follow this account for more.
All right, so shout out to Crypto Lulu for that. Before we wrap up some things here in a bit, I want to point out some things because, again, the name of the show is Tuesday Night Lights with Max. You may think, well, what exactly does that mean? Well, I do take a brief moment to get into, for instance, what I see in the market and point out a few key things. Some of those specific things are not necessarily things that we take deep dives into because, let's face it, we're into crypto. Why? For opportunities. It's not just the ISOs and so on, right? So I'm going to go ahead and share that with you guys right now. And here we go. So the overall crypto market cap, it does have a 0.81% increase. But you got to keep in mind, if you're a new investor and you see that, you're basing it off of what? Just that. In reality, we've had way more of an increase. We used to be all the way down to about roughly 785 in that area, 775 billion, right? Technically speaking, that was bottom. How do we know that was bottom? Well, Bitcoin touched the 15s. Now it's at roughly 17,415. ETH is back up over 1,300, so on and so forth, right? Speaking of the top 100. So before we get into that, what's trending right now is Bitcoin. BNB from Binance is also trending, and of course Polygon Matic. And I think if anything, like I pointed out at the very beginning of the show when we gave you guys that quick news, Matic is going to continue to trend. Be on the lookout, especially when it comes to this whole thing with Disney related NFTs. That's a big topic right now. But anyway, let's get more into it. On the 1 hour chart, not a whole lot, right? You have Mina, that's about it. On a 24-hour chart, you have, for instance, some of these ones you see here. I'm still not sold on HOT. It was something I was thinking about getting into at one point, but then I looked at, for instance, what all-time highs they had and so on. I don't know. If anybody's here into the HOT coin, let me know. I'm just not personally sold on it. That's not me fudding or anything. I just simply not. On that 7-day chart, you did see that Gala was up well past, for instance, 80, 90% on the 24-hour chart. Not this chart, right? But on the 7 days, it's at 115% up. Even though you see it currently down, we're talking about an average. Zilliqa did very, very well for the 7 days. It's up 36%. I personally hold Zilliqa. I know some of you guys do as well. Here's my particular watch list. Again, this is not a short list, though. I want to state that. Some people, I don't know who it was, but somebody in the comments on a particular recorded video wanted to see my top 10. This is not my top 10. I want to state that. There's a lot. There's like over 250 in here. Some are garbage, some are good. But anyway, here's what's going on that 24-hour period. Again, I stated this for the record before. I'm sure some of you guys do remember, especially the OGs of OGs. ALI, the ALI, right? Artificial Liquid Intelligence. This is something you can get, I believe, still on crypto.com's exchange, right? Just simply using your app and so on. I'm just going to double check that, but almost 100% sure you can still get it there. Yep, it's still on there. So, I mean, if you want to go DeFi route, you can get it on, for instance, Uniswap. But as far as, just ease of access, you can get it on crypto.com. And so there's some other ones here like Gemini and so on, right? But that's where I first saw it, right? And it's been consistently a really good bi-weekly / bi-monthly swing trade, anywhere from once to twice a month. Okay, the volume is up 1,000%. Again, it's just a little bit of like that ease of access to having it and so on. It does remind me of the concept of what something else that we covered here. For instance, I actually hold it, and that is basically the POL token, the proof of liquidity tokens. Very, very similar to this, but on, for instance, crypto.com especially, right? So yeah, you just see up over 1,000%. They have I should say in volume, they do have a verified market cap of 38 million. So this is considered somewhat of a small market cap gem. Circulating supply is 1,606,511,000. There's only 16% of that out. You do have a max and total supply that both match of 10 billion. I don't know if I'll do a video on this, to be honest, because I just don't think it's kind of like more of like the utility, right? For instance, POL, there is no community, but it's a utility token. So there is some of those things that make sense. And this one, again, for a lot, I would say most of 2022, this was a decent swing trade. So swing trading is your thing. Do some more of your own research. Look into ALI, mainly because of the ease of access to it, whether you're a fan of centralized exchanges or not. it may be something that you may want to consider. Again, I'm not giving you financial advice or anything like that. I'm just saying I do like to point out some of these things because I know some of you guys do these types of things. All right. On top of that, I want to get back into this particular watch list. And here we go. So there's ALI. Here's Flare. And Flare, man, I mean, yesterday you saw that dump of about 55%. Now it's up 79%. So, I mean, it's not that we're calling it a pump and dump and a pump again, but I mean, technically people say that. But I think if anything, a lot of people just recognize that, they're going to be doing some things and whatnot. It's finally here. We'll take more of a deeper dive into specifically Flare. Literally, Mike Cornwell's been talking about this since before last summer even started. I think he's been talking about this since April or May. But yeah, very interesting to see what's going on with Flare. Singularity Net, we talk about here every now and then. That one's up 21%. If you're new to what Singularity Net is and so on, or you're new here, Singularity Net is one of the standout projects for the Cardano ecosystem. Originally started off, for instance, as being ERC, with Ethereum on that contract and so on. But they're literally building on Cardano. And that's up 85%, 21% up for the 24-hour period. I don't know. I'm still always on the fence of getting back into VGX. We did see a pump on it, up 21%. I just feel as though that there's going to be some moment where this thing is going to pop off again. I don't think we're done with this. I'm just going to say that for the record. I don't think we're done with this. I think personally, I'm not telling you what to do. I see that this thing going back up to $1 again at some point. I don't know how soon. Maybe with regulatory clarity. Here's the thing. Now, you may be for this or not, but that's a reality. We get regulatory clarity. Things like this and other distressed assets, they may actually have pumps because then there's a percentage of people who will choose to get back in, even though, it doesn't matter if it's Binance or whatever the case be, people will jump back in. That equals volume. That equals demand. That equals short-term pumps, if you will. I did cover Croking quite a bit on MaximusCrypto. I do not cover it anymore. That was long before we joined up with Larry, but I did quite a few videos. If you're looking for a small market cap one, we're talking like micro cap. You can look into Croking. You can have their native token of Croking. You can earn actual Crow. Again, that's not on here at Crypto Talk now. That's on MaximusCrypto. Again, this is talking about archive stuff. I'm looking to get out of half pizza as soon as I turn a profit. It's been doing consistently well. For some reason, it only does well like once a year for some darn reason. And usually it's around this time. I don't know why that is. I will not be re-entering that project. I do not trust the dev team. With that also said, I am looking to get into Tectonic. I'm trying to time that just right. We have talked about literally a few days before it had a major pump. I did mention to you guys more than a few times that I felt as though that was a 10x at least. So basically you put in 1K into it. That was a 10x. And that basically became true. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I will give credit where credit's due. And then there's a few other ones I want to point out there further down here. I did see that Smooth Love Potion was doing a little bit in the market. I still feel as though that it's one of those things that even if you didn't do a lot of research, it might be something in which you can still earn some pretty decent gains. How do we know that? Well, basically speaking, if you look into Smooth Love Potion, how well it did, for instance, in 2021, let me click on all-time highs. And that's, let's face it, that's the way there's a lot of projects. So, a couple times, right? So May 2021, kind of like when Axie Infinity was really doing well, this also followed suit because it's part of that whole thing. And that is, this is kind of like the payment token, if you will, with inside the game, right? This was 33 cents, and then we saw it do well a couple months after that to about roughly 35 cents. I'm not saying it's going to get back to all-time highs, but even if it went to half of all-time highs based on this price here, that, risk to reward ratio ain't that bad, right? So, I mean, you could load up quite a bit on that. and, you know, have a nice return. But again, I don't see it happening like, you know, tomorrow or anything, or next week or a month or so on. But getting into an actual bull run, yeah, I think this is definitely one that will follow suit with that. That's just how I personally feel. All right. One more I think I saw earlier that I want to draw your attention to as well. Let me fix that 24-hour chart real quick. And then we'll show you a little bit in regards to what's on sale. Obviously bone, right? So, I mean, I still need to get a position of bone. Yes, I've been totally sold on the whole thing of it a while back because of Shibarium. And this thing obviously will pump when Shibarium drops. That's just like a no-brainer. Not official financial advice. Whether I'm into it or not, just recognize opportunities that are out there. Another thing that we never talk about, I want to state this for the record. I'm not a fan of Terra Luna 2.0, but I want to state this. There's another guy out there. I think his name is Connor. He pointed this out on his particular YouTube channel. There's a section that's literally listed, I believe, on Binance. And it says specifically, it gives you that disclaimer about how Do Kwon was arrested and so on, right? But that same, and to use caution, that same disclaimer is not on the listing for Terra Luna Classic, right? So there's this thing going on about to get it delisted. And if anything, yeah, technically speaking, when disclaimers are not listed on the likes of, you know, Binance and so on, you could see this have a little bit of upside and more volume. Those things basically happen. Is it going to go parabolic? No. But if you're looking for maybe a possible short-term gain after that happens, you might want to pay a little bit of attention to this specifically. What was the other one? Yeah, I'm still looking to get out of Wink as soon as I turn a profit of it. I do not recommend Wink to anybody. I have, oh God, I probably have about $2,000 into Wink. That was a long time ago. All right. Believe it or not, I'm actually thinking about getting some baby Dogecoin because of the volume and because of the consolidation. That's a long story in itself. What is the other one? Oh, Flux. That was the one. So, for instance, Tim Shea is into Flux, and I'm still looking to get a position on this. And I feel as though that this one, especially with a bull run, is really going to jump. This one in a bull run jumps to at least top 100, if not more. We did a kind of a little bit of a brief dive, not a deep dive into Flux. What stands out, of course, is how they compete with the likes of Google Cloud, Amazon, significantly cheaper, and provides literally the same utility, but like, what is it, like 80% cheaper or 90% cheaper? Anyway, doesn't mean it's cheap. It just means that, let's face it, I mean, it's tied into blockchain. And on top of that, they have real utility. Those other ones, obviously, you know, Amazon and Google Cloud, that's not tied into blockchain. So you get significant savings. Again, so that's where some of the utility kicks in. Now, what I want to point out real quick before we get into back in the comments and so on is you did see this, for instance, during the time that Bitcoin and Ethereum are all-time highs. I always use this reference, 1111, right? Well, I retweeted what Mike Cornwell shared about, you know, the whole thing with Bitcoin. So I'm not saying that we get into like a bull run like immediately, like within a month or so. But if anything, I think by quarter two, we start seeing things start to really turn around. You're already starting to see some of that. Some of you guys are not, you're kind of on the fence saying that, you know, this is the start of the bull run or crypto winter thawing out and so on. But this is another one. Just like, you know, shout out to XXI Gaming, you know, Stratos as well, that I'm thinking about like picking up because it makes sense. You know, 11/12/2021, this was at $2.78. And at these particular price levels, I mean, and they did it again. I mean, yeah, people took profits, came back up, right, at the beginning of, let's face it, the bear market, January of 2022. So basically a year ago, this goes up to 294, and then we touched the threes. I see this at least going back to like $1.50 personally. So that's a way more than, you know, let's face it, that's a lot more than a 2x. It doesn't sound like much, but I see, you know, this possibly going to new all-time highs as well, because once more and more people learn about this, I think if anything, it's the word of mouth also, and they find out, look, there's other alternate things out there than Google Cloud and Amazon Web Services and so on, they'll find out that the price, that's the main thing. Price does sell, and this is significantly cheaper. That was the main selling point for me. All right. So I'm going to kick it back in the comments. Thank you guys for being here, whoever's still left. Only if you want to, Max, just for a brief moment, probably. Max, do you follow T? He's pretty knowledgeable. I love video games, so I would like to see it. Well, thank you. I don't know. That does sound familiar. I mentioned Holo to you before, but you said you didn't like it. Oh, okay. Yeah, the hot coin. Yeah. What do you think about Casper? I think Casper's great. I think you cannot go wrong with CSPR personally. That's why we tag it here. We haven't done, I think, Larry did a quick review on it. But we haven't done a deep dive yet. I am looking to do that in the future because I'm totally sold on it. My thing is, though, I've reinvested so much back into crypto, and now it's also to the point where I just need to have kind of like a short list. But Casper, to be honest, is approaching more and more every day towards getting on my short list. It's not quite there yet, but it's definitely getting there. But yeah, I feel as though if you're on the fence of getting into it and you feel as though that you've done enough research, yeah, it's one of the standout ones with the ISOs. I think it's definitely part of that whole mix for sure. Max, you have to narrow it down a little bit, bro. Narrow what down? What do you mean specifically? Give her a high five for me, bro. I don't know what you mean. Crypto T, video games, 2 different comments in one. Huh. Yeah, just give me some clarification in regards to that. All right, so I'm gonna do something kind of off, because let's face it, we're going 2.5 hours. So anybody who wants to still stay, I appreciate it. If you want to get going, totally understand as well. So my friends keep telling me, man, Max, you have abandoned your gaming channel. Why did you do that, man? Like, you had great content on there. Well, let me give you a preview of what I'm talking about. So if anything, I will show this. It's a little bit kind of like off topic a little bit, but I mean, we're so far into we've done more than enough in regards to the show. I do want to kind of show you guys this real quick. I'll switch my account real quick, go to DPGmaximus. So if anything, I'm going to show you this here. Hold on. So here's my particular gaming channel. If you guys are into gaming. Here's some of the popular ones, I guess you could say. So, for instance, Battlefield 5. This plane that you see here is the hardest plane to fly in the game, and as a result, I got rewarded for that because I showed people how to fly it, and it got over 125,000 views. It also got like 2,000 likes, like a bunch of comments. People really appreciate it, to say the least. But nonetheless, I want to show you specifically Call of Duty real quick, because this one, I'm really, really proud of this. And if anything, I realize, you probably lost a few people, but maybe not a lot. But I know that some of you guys play some of these games, and some of you guys also have kids. And if anything, I want to show you this. I'm just going to get into it. I'm going to show it right now. Let me know what you honestly think. And if, like, bro, you suck. I'm glad you gave that up, or you're like, dude, what the heck? Why did you give that up? That's the main thing I want you to tell me. Because I am thinking about at least once a week. My priority will always be the crypto stuff, because that's what I'm most passionate about. But I'm thinking about doing this at least once a week, and I really do appreciate your guys' feedback in regards to this. So I am sharing it in a way you can hear it. It's in 4K. It probably won't get outputted that way because this is on 720p right now. But nonetheless, here we go. And here's my particular intro that I used to do quite a bit. Here we go.
Enemy spy plane inbound. Securing B. Losing A. Hold your fire, asshole! Losing power. Enemy is C. Taking A. Losing B.
All right, so that was just a preview a little bit in regards to that. But yeah, to answer some of you guys' specific questions, that is this. What was your favorite COD? Believe it or not, my favorite Call of Duty was this tie between these two. Is Call of Duty 1, right? The World War II one, and also Call of Duty 2. It's really tied between that. I also like World of War a lot. And these games basically have mod tools, dedicated servers, Punk Buster support, stuff like that. Really enjoy those particular ones. Glad you like the nose scopes and so on. I'm going to show you guys just one more. I know this is like off kilter and so on. I actually want your opinion on this. This was regards to like what I used to do with Battlefield. I'm going to show you this one here for a second. And then if anything, after that, we'll wrap up the show. Hold on a second. So let's see here. Let me get one that was really, really good. All right. Yeah, I guess I'll show you this one. The backlighter one. This one's pretty good. All right. I'm going to share it in a way you can see it, and then we'll be right back. All right. All right, here we go.
They call this the Bat, but it's not blind. Just one of the many hush-hush wartime devices now revealed to the public for Navy Day. The Bat is a radar-controlled glider bomb that wreaked havoc with Jap shipping in the last months of the war. Trained technicians are being turned out in the Navy's vast program of robot warfare. The Bat glides down swiftly and unerringly with its deadly cargo of destruction. Its extreme range is about 12 miles at 10,000-foot altitude. Bombers and fighters both can be armed with the amazing weapon that seeks out its target and destroys it. Bullseye for the Bat.
Hello, everyone. You're looking at the P-70 Night Fighter with the dual glider bomb loadout. This is by far the hardest loadout of any plane to fly in this game. So how do you go about accomplishing things like that without scratching the surface? Well, stay tuned and I'll show you how to accomplish just that. So when I first flew this, I got very discouraged because I kept blowing myself up with these bombs. But the key is to shoot one and then shoot another, just like this. And since we're at the first sector, I highly advise to do just that. Take out the AA gun first. And since we're over here, might as well take out this Yonkers 88 real quick. Alright, there we go. Okay, notice my angle coming on in, not at a flat angle. I'm actually diving down right in, and I'm placing those circular reticles right over each other. Yep, there we go. See? 5 kills right there. You can accomplish that too. So there's a Sturmgeschütz spot over here. I'm going to line up one circular reticle, release that, and then I'm going to release the second glider bomb. And that Sturmgeschütz is down. Key is you cannot fire both of them at the same time. If you do, you really risk colliding with them. So on this Panzer IV over here, I'm going to launch one. I'm going to speed up so I don't collide with that glider bomb behind me. And shoot the other. See, just like that.
It's like a 1-2 punch. Got 3 on that one.
Then prepare to defend the sector.
So I don't recommend what I'm about to do here.
I'm not gonna play the whole thing because it's literally a walkthrough how to like win this entire mission, and you know it's with 64 other people, or 64 people total, and so on. But anyway, it's something I used to love doing. It's so time consuming to make these particular videos. I mean, you have to get really high quality. You have to, I mean, you know, I put a lot of work into the crypto stuff. It's just I'm trying to think like, can I realistically at least do one day a week? Because I mean, I did put a lot of time into that. You know, and for instance, if you're wondering, which I don't know, a lot of you guys probably aren't, but I mean, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, you know, 7,300 subscribers. I felt as though like if I kept it going, probably I could have maybe been well past 10,000 by now. But it's just the interaction. Like you get a lot of views like that. You know, that video got over 125,000 views, 88 comments, and so on. I don't know. It just didn't feel. I don't know. It just didn't feel it was worth its time. I mean, I was more interested in making money, I guess you could say. But I don't know. I just kind of wanted some feedback in regards to some of that. What you guys think with that? All right. Lost some viewers, but appreciate it, Max. Yeah. Well, I was also wrapping up the show. So, guys, you don't have to give me no feedback on that. It's okay. If anything, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Thank you for being here tonight. I kind of understand that we went off the rails a little bit with that, but you know, that is my other channel. Yeah, I mean, it's not just that one, man. I mean, it's like, I know it's hard to see some of this stuff, but I'll show just one more time. That's it. So this is the channel. If you're into gaming, I mean, I haven't done nothing there for a while, but it's got 7,310 subscribers. The most popular ones, obviously, that one just showed you how to fly with the 2X glider bombs, P-70 Night Fighter. I have really detailed intros, all that stuff. It's 125,000 views, bunch of subscribers. That one I showed you earlier with the no scopes with the LW3 Tundra. I love this video, the P51K Mustang, how to fly and dominate, 103,000 views. So, I mean, I have 3 videos with well over 100,000 views, and some of these other ones. If you ever wondered what we did with Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the first Modern Warfare game ever from the Call of Duty series, we released this back in 2011. It was the world's most popular mod for Call of Duty 4. I was very, very proud about that. I got to speak to 2 venture panels to invest in doing a game based off some of the stats that we have here. That doesn't mean I was part of the Call of Duty development team. Don't get twisted. It was a mod. But this particular mod called NW4MP, that basically landed us something like 460,000 users. We used to have like the proof that where it shows like on a spreadsheet, if you will, of all the unique users and so on. When you connect to the server, literally you tell people like, you are welcome users such and such. You were the 460,127 user to connect to the server. But yeah, it was specific for that. We had 40 new weapons, 18 new kill streaks, and with support of over 500 maps. It was really, really something. It basically allowed a lot of replay value to it. Like a lot of times people came into MW2, don't get me wrong, they loved Modern Warfare 2, but when they went into it and so on, they didn't like the idea that there was this thing called IWNet, where there was no dedicated servers, had to play on somebody with a garbage connection, or allowing that person to get a 0 ping. And yeah, you have like a 50 ping, but let's face it, the guy has like the best connection and you get wrecked, right? But yeah, anyway, we were really, really proud about that. And I got to meet with 2 venture panels to get like a game going. Of course, they're too greedy. You guys know some of the stories, but I have some other ones here. It's not just about like, for instance, planes. It was tanks, all this stuff, like highlights, monster kills, like, where it's just nothing but like just waves and waves of monster kills. Like we're talking like 10, 15 kills, stuff like that, like at once. But yeah, I put a lot of time into this, and from here I went to crypto. Crypto became my new passion. So I just want to give people an idea of some of the things that I accomplished or did in the past. I was very, very passionate about this, and I shifted my focus into crypto, but it always kind of is in the back of my head to at least maybe get back into this, to do it like once a week. But At the same time, I like to have a day off to just have a day off. So anyway, I never showed you guys like a deep dive into some of the stuff I used to before, but I do thank you so much for at least giving me a chance to share something that wasn't just crypto related with you guys. I appreciate every single one of you guys who continue to come here. I know we lost a lot of people, but thanks for being here, guys. And if anything, be out on the lookout for more recorded content that will be dropped to you guys soon. And I'm just going to read these before we close out. That's a lot of views, bro. Thank you very much. I wasn't talking crap when I said lost views, bro. No, it's okay. I understand. All right, no scopes. Thank you very much. Thank you for Brian and everybody else who were interested in watching that. And if anything, have a great night, everybody. We'll see you back here at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific tomorrow for Crypto Talk Now's Crypto Roundtable. I believe it's with Daniel Gate and Wadi, Sean the Crypto Smith, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe there's somebody else I forgot on that particular list. But we're looking forward to it. See you tomorrow. Over and out. Have a good night.